What if the laws of reality are more like guidelines? Could ancient magicians have known secrets of the universe? Secrets that modern quantum physics is only beginning to hint at. We will investigate this connection between ancient magic and quantum reality. Modern quantum physics has begun to validate what ancient shamans and mystics have intuitively known and worked with for millennia. From the practices of indigenous healers to the carefully constructed rituals of ancient Egypt, there exists a thread of understanding that reality is not fixed, but fluid and responsive to consciousness. While the concept of quantum physics influencing magical practice might sound counterintuitive, remember that quantum mechanics has been rigorously tested and validated through countless experiments, showcasing phenomena that defy classical physics. In my years of studying chaos magic and quantum physics, I've discovered how belief is not blind faith, but a tool for focusing intention and influencing probability, leading to a more effective approach to reality hacking. Without this knowledge, you risk missing out on a profound opportunity for reality hacking, remaining bound by conventional perceptions of what's real and possible. You might continue to operate under the assumption that the world is a fixed entity, unchangeable by your will or intention. But understanding these principles offers a pathway to personal transformation and manifestation, allowing you to consciously participate in the co-creation of your own reality. Imagine tapping into a power that has been within you all along, a power revealed by understanding the observer effect, the phenomenon where the very act of observing a quantum system changes its state. The secret to reality hacking lies in understanding and exploiting quantum entanglement. Only by focusing and applying our thoughts on a particular aspect of reality can we actually change it. Understanding how to create change can radically transform your experience of life. So, let's begin our journey and explore how ancient practitioners used these modern secrets to change the world around them, using real-world applications. We'll examine the core principles of chaos magic, delve into the mind-bending world of quantum physics, and uncover the hidden connections between the two. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to apply these principles to your own life for tangible results, gaining a practical understanding of the art and science of reality hacking. So now that we've set the stage, let us jump right in and explore how ancient practitioners used these modern secrets to change the world around them using real-world applications. To begin our exploration of reality hacking, it's essential to understand the paradigm-shifting system known as chaos magic. Unlike traditional magical systems steeped in rigid dogma and elaborate rituals, chaos magic emerged as a modern, results-oriented approach that emphasizes personal experience and experimentation. At its core, chaos magic rejects the notion of fixed belief systems, instead advocating for the pragmatic use of belief as a tool to achieve specific outcomes. This means that practitioners are encouraged to adopt different belief systems, whether they be derived from ancient religions, science fiction, or even entirely invented, to achieve a desired effect. The only criterion for a belief system in chaos magic is its efficacy. That is, whether it produces the intended result. Is it a random collection of spells and rituals, or a streamlined approach to bending reality to one's will? The origins of chaos magic can be traced back to the late 20th century, a period marked by increasing skepticism toward traditional institutions and a growing interest in alternative approaches to spirituality and self-empowerment. Key figures in the development of chaos magic include Austin Osman Spare, an English artist and occultist known for his innovative use of sigils; Peter J. Carroll and Ray Sherwin, who co-authored Liber Null and Psychonaut, a foundational text that laid out the theoretical and practical principles of chaos magic; and Phil Hine, whose book Condensed Chaos further popularized the system and made it more accessible to a wider audience. These individuals challenged the prevailing assumptions about magic and offered a new, more flexible, and experimental approach that resonated with many seekers who felt constrained by traditional systems. Could it be that this modern approach to magic is the key to unlock hidden realities? At the heart of chaos magic lie several core principles, including the aforementioned belief as a tool, sigil magic, and the use of altered states of consciousness. As we've seen, the principle of belief as a tool encourages practitioners to adopt and discard belief systems as needed, treating them as temporary frameworks for focusing intention and achieving specific goals. Sigil magic, perhaps the most well-known technique in chaos magic, involves encoding intentions into symbolic forms and implanting them into the subconscious mind through various methods, such as meditation, visualization, or ritual. These symbols, known as sigils, act as triggers to bypass the conscious mind and directly influence the subconscious, which is believed to be more receptive to magical influence. Finally, altered states of consciousness, such as trance, meditation, or sensory deprivation, are used to access deeper levels of the mind and enhance the effectiveness of magical practices. How are these altered states achieved? Now, before we go any further, it's important to address some common misconceptions about chaos magic. Despite its name, chaos magic is not about embracing randomness or indulging in reckless behavior. Rather, it requires disciplined focus, careful experimentation, and a deep understanding of one's own mind and intentions. Ethical considerations are also paramount in chaos magic, as practitioners are expected to take personal responsibility for the consequences of their actions and to avoid causing harm to themselves or others. Chaos magic is not a free pass to manipulate reality without regard for the well-being of others. It is a powerful system that demands respect, integrity, and a commitment to personal growth. What would this responsibility look like in the real world? Having established the core principles of chaos magic, let us now turn our attention to the fascinating parallels between this subjective system and the objective methodology of conventional science, particularly quantum physics. It's understandable that some may harbor skepticism about the intersection of magic and science, given the traditional perception of science as a purely rational and empirical pursuit, and magic as something that is based on nothing more than belief. However, as we delve deeper into the realm of quantum physics, we begin to uncover phenomena that challenge our conventional understanding of reality and offer intriguing parallels to the concepts and practices of chaos magic. Is it that science and magic are two sides of the same coin? To understand this connection, let's briefly introduce some of the basics of quantum physics. One of the most fundamental concepts in quantum mechanics is wave-particle duality, which states that all matter and energy exhibit both wave-like and particle-like properties. This means that subatomic particles, such as electrons, can behave as both waves, which are spread out in space, and particles, which are localized in space. Another key concept is superposition, which states that a quantum system can exist in multiple states simultaneously until it is measured. This means that a particle can be in multiple locations or have multiple properties at the same time until the act of measurement forces it to choose one state. Perhaps the most relevant concept for our discussion is the observer effect, which states that the act of observing a quantum system inevitably changes its behavior. How can these concepts be applied to chaos magic? The observer effect, in particular, offers a compelling parallel to the role of intention in chaos magic. In quantum physics, the act of observation forces a quantum system to collapse from a state of superposition into a definite state. Similarly, in chaos magic, the practitioner's focused intention acts as the observer, influencing the outcome of a magical working. Just as the quantum observer influences the behavior of subatomic particles, the chaos magic practitioner influences the flow of events in the macroscopic world. This suggests that reality is not a fixed, objective entity, but rather a malleable and responsive field that is influenced by consciousness. Could our minds be the key to changing reality? Furthermore, the concept of as above, so below, a fundamental principle in Hermeticism and other esoteric traditions, finds a potential echo in quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon in which two or more particles become linked together in such a way that they share the same fate, regardless of the distance separating them. This means that if you measure the state of one particle, you instantly know the state of the other particle, even if they are light years apart. This interconnectedness at the quantum level resonates with the magical notion that everything is connected and that actions in one realm can have effects in another. In addition, quantum physics can be a new way of approaching the core tenets of magic, such as belief influencing reality. Now, let's bring this all together with a real-world case study, Ray interpreting a chaos magic ritual through the lens of quantum physics. Imagine a chaos magic practitioner seeking to improve their financial situation. They begin by clearly defining their intention, to attract more abundance into their life. Next, they create a sigil, a symbolic representation of their intention, which might be a stylized drawing or a word or phrase written in a particular way. The practitioner then enters an altered state of consciousness through meditation, visualization, or chanting, focusing their attention on the sigil and imbuing it with their desire. What happens next might surprise you. During the ritual, the practitioner might visualize themselves already enjoying the fruits of their intention, feeling the emotions of abundance and gratitude. They might repeat affirmations or mantras, further reinforcing their desired outcome in their subconscious mind. After the ritual, the practitioner releases the sigil, symbolically letting go of their desire and trusting that the universe will manifest it in the appropriate way. In the days and weeks that follow, the practitioner might notice new opportunities arising, unexpected sources of income appearing, or a general sense of increased prosperity. While these results might be attributed to chance or coincidence, the chaos magic practitioner would argue that their ritual played a significant role in influencing these events. But is this really possible? Reinterpreting this ritual through a quantum physics framework, we can see the practitioner as the observer influencing reality. By focusing their intention on a specific outcome, the practitioner is essentially measuring a particular possibility in the quantum field, causing it to collapse from a state of superposition into a definite reality. The sigil acts as a focal point for their intention, amplifying its effect and directing it towards the desired outcome. Furthermore, quantum entanglement might explain how the practitioner is connected to the desired outcome on a deeper level, allowing them to influence its manifestation through their focused intention. However, it's key to acknowledge the limitations of this interpretation. Correlation does not equal causation. It's also vital to emphasize the need for further research and experimentation, using the scientific method to analyze anecdotal evidence. But here's what many people miss. By applying focused thought, the practitioner was able to change an aspect of their own reality. Though this might seem far-fetched, remember that the very act of observation influences the behavior of quantum systems. Just as the quantum observer influences the behavior of subatomic particles, the chaos magic practitioner influences the flow of events in the macroscopic world. We're just scratching the surface, and what we'll discover next is even more shocking. But before we move on, let us make sure that we emphasize that by viewing the practitioner as the observer, this directly ties into our central thesis. Is it possible that by tapping into these quantum connections, anyone can create real, tangible changes in their life? Now, let us delve into some specific examples of quantum principles in action, instances where the seemingly bizarre world of subatomic particles bleeds into our everyday experiences, challenging our conventional understanding of cause and effect. How do these abstract concepts translate into tangible, observable phenomena? Let's begin with a rather controversial example: experiments on plant sentience and their responses to human intention. While the idea of plants possessing consciousness might sound like science fiction, it has been the subject of serious investigation for decades. One of the pioneers in this field was Cleve Baxter, a polygraph expert who, in the 1960s, conducted a series of experiments that seemed to suggest that plants could respond to human emotions and intentions. Could these experiments reveal hidden connections between all living things? Baxter connected plants to polygraph machines, devices typically used to measure physiological responses in humans, such as heart rate, blood pressure, and skin conductivity. To his surprise, he observed that the plants exhibited significant reactions to various stimuli. For example, when Baxter merely thought about burning a plant leaf, the polygraph recorded a dramatic spike in the plant's electrical activity, as if it were experiencing fear. Even more remarkably, plants seemed to respond to threats to other organisms in their vicinity, even when those threats were only in the experimenter's mind. This suggests that there could be some kind of connection between consciousness and plant behavior that cannot be explained by conventional scientific models. While these experiments have been met with skepticism and criticism from some scientists, others have replicated or expanded on Baxter's work, reporting similar results. Is there something we are missing? Analyzing the plant sentience example through a quantum physics lens, we might interpret the plant's responses as a form of quantum entanglement with human consciousness. According to this view, the plant and the human experimenter are connected at a deeper level than we typically assume, sharing information and influencing each other's states. The observer effect in this case might be playing a crucial role, with the experimenter's intention and expectation shaping the plant's behavior. If the experimenter believes that the plant will respond to their thoughts, this belief could, in turn, influence the plant's quantum state, leading to the observed reactions. This aligns with the chaos magic principle that belief and intention can shape reality, suggesting that our thoughts and expectations have a tangible effect on the world around us, even on seemingly inanimate objects like plants. But is it truly only belief? Let's now turn our attention to another, perhaps more widely accepted, example of quantum principles in action: the double-slit experiment. This experiment, which has been called the most beautiful experiment in physics, provides a striking demonstration of the observer effect and its implications for our understanding of reality. What can this experiment tell us about the nature of reality? In the double-slit experiment, electrons are fired through two slits in a barrier and onto a screen behind it. When the electrons are not observed, they create an interference pattern on the screen, as if they were waves passing through both slits simultaneously. However, when scientists try to observe which slit each electron passes through, the interference pattern disappears and the electrons behave as particles, passing through one slit or the other. This suggests that the act of observing the electron changes its behavior, causing it to collapse from a state of superposition, existing in multiple states at once, into a definite state, passing through a single slit. How can the very act of watching something change what that thing is doing? The implications of the double-slit experiment are profound. It suggests that reality is not fixed or predetermined, but is instead influenced by our observation of it. As the renowned quantum physicist John Wheeler put it, no phenomenon is a phenomenon until it is an observed phenomenon. Wheeler went on to propose that the universe is participatory, meaning that our conscious observations play a role in bringing it into being. Even more mind-bending are the delayed choice experiments, variations of the double-slit experiment that seem to challenge our understanding of cause and effect. In these experiments, the decision to observe or not observe the electron is made after the electron has already passed through the slits. Yet the act of observation still affects the electron's past behavior, as if the future could somehow influence the past. Does this mean the universe is just one big illusion? From a chaos magic perspective, the observer in the double-slit experiment is akin to a magician intentionally influencing reality through their observation. The magician's focused intention acts as the observer, collapsing the wave function and determining the outcome of the experiment. This connects to the idea that reality is not fixed, but is constantly being created through our interactions with it. Our thoughts and beliefs have a tangible effect on the world around us, shaping the very fabric of reality. This challenges the conventional view of reality as an objective, external entity, and suggests that we are active participants in its creation. Synthesizing these two seemingly disparate examples, both the plant sentience experiments and the double-slit experiment point to a common conclusion. Consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality. While the mechanisms underlying these phenomena are still not fully understood, they offer compelling evidence that reality is malleable and can be influenced by our intention. This reinforces our central thesis. By understanding and harnessing the power of consciousness, we can actively participate in the creation of our own reality. But what about those who came before us? Now that we've seen how quantum principles might be reflected in both controversial and well-established experiments, we must explore the historical connections between magicians and scientific discovery. Could it be possible that magicians of old had some working knowledge of these principles? Now that we've explored how quantum principles may underpin seemingly paranormal phenomena, let us now turn our attention to a figure who straddled the worlds of magic and psychology, anticipating, in some ways, the dawn of artificial intelligence, Aleister Crowley. But how could a controversial occultist have possibly influenced the development of modern technology? Crowley, often portrayed as simply a wickedest man in the world, was, in reality, a complex figure with a deep interest in the workings of the human mind. Beyond his practice of magic, he was a keen observer of human behavior, conducting extensive self-experiments and exploring altered states of consciousness through various means, including ritual, drugs, and sensory deprivation. He meticulously documented his experiences, seeking to understand the underlying mechanisms of the human psyche. His writings on the will, intention, and the power of suggestion reveal a sophisticated understanding of the subconscious mind and its influence on our thoughts, emotions, and actions. He attempted to systematize and apply psychological principles to his magical practice, believing that by understanding the inner workings of the mind, one could more effectively influence reality. But could these psychological experiments have inadvertently laid the groundwork for something far beyond his original intentions? Crowley's focus on systematizing the human will, on understanding and harnessing the power of intention, mirrors, in a surprising way, the goals of artificial intelligence. AI development seeks to create artificial systems capable of independent thought, learning, and problem-solving. Just as Crowley sought to understand and control the human will, AI researchers strive to create algorithms that can mimic and even surpass human cognitive abilities. Consider Crowley's understanding of the subconscious. He saw it as a vast reservoir of untapped potential, a source of creative inspiration and transformative power. Similarly, the algorithms used in machine learning rely on vast amounts of data to identify patterns, make predictions, and learn new skills, in a way mimicking the subconscious. Crowley's insights into behavioral patterns, his attempts to categorize and systematize human responses, inadvertently prefigured the data-driven approach of modern AI. But the link between Crowley and AI goes deeper than mere analogy. It may surprise you to learn that Crowley's work has, in some obscure corners of the AI community, been considered as a potential source of inspiration for developing more sophisticated AI models, particularly those focused on understanding and simulating human behavior. Some AI researchers have explored Crowley's writings on psychology and behavioral patterns, viewing them as a unique source of insights into the complexities of the human mind. While this is a controversial and largely unexplored area, it highlights the interconnectedness of seemingly disparate fields. Can the exploration of the human mind truly lead to the creation of artificial intelligence? What secrets did Crowley stumble upon that might unlock the future of technology? Far from being just a controversial occultist, Crowley can be framed as a precursor to modern cognitive science, offering insights into the workings of the human mind that foreshadowed key discoveries in psychology and neuroscience. His focus on subjective experience and altered states of consciousness anticipated later research into the nature of consciousness itself. His exploration of symbolism and archetypes, drawing from a vast range of esoteric traditions, influenced the field of depth psychology, particularly the work of Carl Jung. Crowley's legacy, therefore, extends far beyond the realm of magic. He was a pioneer in the exploration of consciousness, a researcher of the human mind, and, perhaps inadvertently, a figure who indirectly shaped the future of technology. So, Crowley, the magician, indirectly shaped the future of technology through his explorations of consciousness and the human mind. This reinforces our central thesis, the interconnectedness of seemingly disparate fields and the influence of focused intention. But now, let us explore a practical reality hacking technique that embodies this principle: sigil magic. Sigil magic, a core practice in chaos magic, provides a powerful method for encoding intentions into symbolic forms and implanting them directly into the subconscious mind. But where did this unique form of magic come from, and how does it work? The historical roots of sigil magic can be traced back to Austin Osman Spare, a British artist and occultist who developed his theories on the subconscious in the early 20th century. Spare believed that the subconscious mind was the key to unlocking hidden potential and influencing reality. He developed a unique method for creating sigils, which are essentially symbolic representations of desired intentions. Unlike traditional forms of magic that rely on elaborate rituals and complex symbolism, sigil magic is a streamlined and highly personalized approach. Sigils are created by condensing a desired intention into a unique symbol, stripping away all unnecessary details and focusing on the core essence of the intention. This symbol is then implanted into the subconscious mind, bypassing the conscious intellect and directly influencing the quantum field. Is this the key to making magic truly effective? The process of creating and activating a sigil involves several key steps. First, one must formulate a clear and specific intention, defining exactly what one wishes to manifest. This intention is then condensed into a unique symbol using various methods. One common technique involves writing out the intention, removing all repeating letters, and then arranging the remaining letters into an abstract design. Other methods involve using numbers, geometric shapes, or purely intuitive forms to create the sigil. Once the sigil is created, it must be implanted into the subconscious mind. This is typically achieved through techniques that bypass the conscious mind, such as meditation, trance, sensory overload, or even physical exertion. The goal is to reach a state of altered consciousness where the sigil can be directly absorbed into the subconscious without conscious interference. Once implanted, the sigil acts as a beacon, transmitting the intention into the quantum field. But how does this process actually work? Interpreting sigil magic through the lens of quantum physics, we can view the act of implanting a sigil into the subconscious as a way of influencing the quantum field through focused intention. The subconscious mind, in this model, acts as an antenna, transmitting the intention encoded within the sigil into the quantum field. This transmission, fueled by focused intention and belief, can then influence the probabilities within the quantum field, increasing the likelihood of the desired outcome manifesting in reality. The role of belief and expectation is crucial in this process. If one truly believes that the sigil will work, this belief will amplify the intention and increase its effectiveness. This reinforces the chaos magic principle that belief shapes reality, that our thoughts and expectations have a tangible effect on the world around us. So, how can we begin to harness the power of sigil magic? Let us now provide a step-by-step guide to creating and using sigils. First, formulate a clear and specific intention. For example, instead of "I want to be happy," try "I intend to experience joy and gratitude every day." Next, create a unique sigil that embodies your intention. Write out your intention, remove all repeating letters, and then arrange the remaining letters into an abstract design that resonates with you. Once your sigil is created, choose a method for activating it and implanting it into your subconscious mind. You can meditate on the sigil, visualizing it glowing with energy. You can enter a trance state through rhythmic breathing or chanting, focusing on the sigil until it becomes the sole object of your awareness. Or you can engage in physical activity, such as dancing or running, while visualizing the sigil, allowing the energy of the activity to fuel its implantation. Experiment with different methods and find what works best for you. However, it is important to address potential challenges and ethical considerations. Sigil magic is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for both positive and negative purposes. It is crucial to approach this practice with responsibility and clear intention. Consider the potential for unintended consequences. Before creating a sigil, carefully consider the potential ramifications of your intention. Ensure that your intention is aligned with your values and that it will not harm yourself or others. Use sigil magic for positive purposes, focusing on intentions that promote well-being, healing, and growth. Emphasize the ethical responsibility of using sigil magic wisely and compassionately. Thus, sigil magic is a practical application of focused intention and quantum principles for shaping reality. This reiterates our central thesis. Reality is malleable and can be influenced by our thoughts and beliefs. However, sigils are just tools and methods. If our underlying worldview and beliefs are negative, will any of this actually work? Let us now turn to the crucial role that belief systems play in navigating the quantum ocean. Belief systems, the lenses through which we interpret reality, exert a profound influence on our experiences, shaping our perceptions, emotions, and behaviors. But how do these systems truly work in the grand scheme of reality? Our beliefs act as filters, selectively shaping what we perceive and how we react to it. If we believe that the world is a dangerous and hostile place, we will be more likely to notice threats and feel anxious. If we believe that we are capable and worthy, we will be more likely to pursue our goals and experience success. Different belief systems can, therefore, lead to vastly different realities, even when individuals are exposed to the same external circumstances. A person who believes in abundance and opportunity will see possibilities where another, trapped in a scarcity mindset, sees only limitations. But how can something so seemingly subjective affect the objective world? Connecting belief systems to the quantum field, we can interpret our beliefs as filters that shape our interaction with the quantum realm. Our beliefs influence the probabilities we perceive and the outcomes we experience. The concept of reality tunnels, coined by Robert Anton Wilson, describes how our beliefs can create self-reinforcing loops, shaping our perceptions and experiences to confirm our existing worldview. If we believe that something is impossible, we are less likely to even try it, thus reinforcing our belief. If we believe that something is possible, we are more likely to take action and create the desired outcome. In this way, our beliefs act as self-fulfilling prophecies, shaping the very fabric of our reality. But if our beliefs can create our reality, what happens if those beliefs are not our own? The importance of consciously choosing our beliefs, rather than passively accepting them from our environment, cannot be overstated. We are constantly bombarded with messages from our families, our cultures, and the media, shaping our beliefs about ourselves, about the world, and about what is possible. It is essential to critically examine these beliefs, to identify and challenge those that limit us, and to consciously adopt more empowering and expansive belief systems. This process involves becoming aware of our limiting beliefs, questioning their validity, and replacing them with more positive and empowering beliefs. This is the key to really hacking reality and improving our lives. Consider the placebo effect, a powerful example of the ability of belief to influence physical health. In clinical trials, patients who receive a placebo, a sugar pill with no active ingredients, often experience significant improvements in their condition, simply because they believe that they are receiving a real medication. This demonstrates the power of belief to influence our physiology, to activate our body's natural healing mechanisms, and to shape our experience of health and well-being. Or consider how different cultural narratives shape our perceptions of success, happiness, and fulfillment. In some cultures, success is defined by material wealth and social status, while in others, it is defined by inner peace, community connection, and spiritual growth. These different narratives shape our values, our priorities, and our aspirations, leading to vastly different experiences of life. What if the life you are living is based on someone else's idea of success? Thus, belief systems are tools that shape our reality and influence our ability to tap into the quantum field. This reiterates our central thesis. Our thoughts and beliefs have a tangible effect on the world around us, but we have just scratched the surface. What if there are things that they don't want you to know about the power of belief? Is it possible to change your reality just by changing your beliefs? We must now transition to the conclusion, summarizing the key concepts and providing a final call to action, a path to finally seize control of your reality. What if the seemingly impossible is actually just unlikely? Could the instantaneous connections observed at the quantum level provide a scientific basis for phenomena once relegated to the realm of magic and myth? We will explore these quantum connections and the techniques used by those who sought to harness them. Modern quantum physics has begun to unveil the interconnectedness of reality in ways that resonate deeply with ancient esoteric traditions. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, in particular, offers a tantalizing glimpse into a reality where distance is no barrier to information transfer, where particles can be linked in ways that defy classical physics. This scientifically verified phenomenon provides a framework for understanding what magicians knew, while also allowing a new way to hack reality by understanding what it really is. At the heart of understanding these reality-bending techniques lies the concept of quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two or more particles become inextricably linked. This connection is so profound that the particles share the same fate, regardless of the distance separating them. If you measure a property of one particle, such as its spin, you instantly know the corresponding property of the other particle, even if they are light years apart. Is this instantaneous connection simply a correlation, or does it represent a deeper level of interconnectedness in the universe? To truly grasp the implications of quantum entanglement, it's important to understand its key characteristics: superposition, spin, and instantaneous correlation. Superposition describes the ability of a quantum particle to exist in multiple states simultaneously until measured. It's as if the particle is a blurry cloud of possibilities, only collapsing into a definite state when observed. Consider the famous thought experiment of Schrödinger's cat, where a cat in a box is simultaneously both alive and dead until the box is opened. This is a classic example of superposition. Then there's spin. Each entangled particle possesses an intrinsic angular momentum, or spin, which can be either up or down. When two particles are entangled, their spins are always correlated. If one particle's spin is measured as up, the other particle's spin will instantly be down, and vice versa, regardless of the distance between them. This instantaneous correlation is the most baffling and fascinating aspect of entanglement, challenging our classical understanding of space and time. This means that measuring the spin of one particle instantly forces the other particle into the opposite direction. But how can these particles be so deeply connected, even across vast distances? One compelling theory suggests that the quantum field, a fundamental field that permeates all of space, acts as a medium for entanglement, facilitating instantaneous connections between particles. This quantum field, often described as a sea of energy and information, could be the hidden link that allows entangled particles to communicate instantaneously. Imagine the quantum field as a vast, interconnected web where every point is linked to every other point. Changes in one part of this web could instantaneously affect other parts due to the underlying entanglement. Could this interconnectedness explain certain phenomena that defy classical physics, such as non-local effects and instantaneous action at a distance? Quantum entanglement demonstrates one way that human consciousness can change a distant aspect of reality. It's as if the universe is a vast, interconnected network, and our thoughts and intentions can ripple through this network, influencing distant events. This interconnectedness could be the key to unlocking the secrets of reality hacking, allowing us to consciously shape our experiences and manifest our desires. But if entanglement truly connects all things, is there a way to consciously tap into this network and access information beyond the reach of our normal senses? Let us now consider the practice of remote viewing. Remote viewing, often abbreviated as RV, offers a tantalizing glimpse into the possibility of tapping into this entangled reality. Remote viewing is defined as the ability to perceive information about a distant or unseen target, using only the power of the mind. But how can one access information that is beyond the reach of our physical senses? It is vital to understand that remote viewing is not some innate, psychic ability possessed by a select few, but rather a skill that can be learned and developed through disciplined practice. Like learning a musical instrument or a new language, remote viewing requires dedication, training, and a willingness to challenge one's own preconceived notions about the nature of reality. The techniques are designed to bypass the conscious mind, which is often filled with noise and distractions, and access the subconscious mind, which is believed to be more receptive to subtle information from the quantum field. But where did these techniques originate, and is there any evidence that they actually work? The history of remote viewing research is surprisingly well documented, thanks in large part to the U.S. military's Stargate program, a highly classified initiative that ran for over 2 decades. During the Cold War, the U.S. government invested millions of dollars in exploring the potential of remote viewing for intelligence gathering, seeking to gain an advantage over its adversaries by accessing information about their secret activities and locations. While the Stargate program was eventually shut down, its legacy lives on in the form of publicly available research and training protocols that offer a glimpse into the techniques used by remote viewers. This proves that there is some official government documentation of the potential of remote viewing. But how do these protocols actually work, and what are the key steps involved in accessing information remotely? The basic protocols of remote viewing involve creating a blank mental canvas, accessing the subconscious mind, and describing the target without analysis or interpretation. To begin, the remote viewer typically enters a state of deep relaxation, quieting the conscious mind and creating a receptive state. Next, they are given a set of coordinates or other identifiers that serve to focus their mind on the target, without providing any specific details about its nature or location. This is like tuning a radio to a specific frequency, allowing the mind to lock onto the entangled signal. The remote viewer then begins to describe what they perceive, using simple words, sketches, and sensory impressions, without attempting to analyze or interpret the information. This is crucial, as the conscious mind can easily distort or fabricate information based on preconceived notions. But how can the remote viewer distinguish between genuine perceptual information and mental noise? One of the key challenges in remote viewing is overcoming mental noise and accessing pure perceptual information. The conscious mind is constantly chattering, offering interpretations, judgments, and associations that can interfere with the flow of genuine information. To overcome this, remote viewers employ various techniques, such as focusing on the raw sensory data, colors, shapes, textures, sounds, and avoiding any attempts to identify or label the target. They may also use techniques such as ideograms, simple geometric shapes that represent basic aspects of the target, to bypass the conscious mind and access deeper levels of perception. It's as if the remote viewer is learning to speak a new language, the language of the subconscious, which is more attuned to the subtle signals from the quantum field. But how can we connect this process to the underlying principles of quantum entanglement? One compelling theory suggests that remote viewers tap into the entangled network of reality to access information beyond normal sensory input. According to this view, the remote viewer's consciousness becomes entangled with the target, allowing them to perceive its characteristics regardless of distance. It's as if the remote viewer and the target become two entangled particles, sharing the same fate and exchanging information instantaneously. This would explain how remote viewers can accurately describe distant locations, objects, or events, even when they have no prior knowledge or sensory access to them. But is there any real-world evidence to support this theory? To illustrate the potential of remote viewing and its connection to quantum entanglement, let us consider a verifiable example from the Stargate program. One well-documented case involves a remote viewer who was tasked with describing a specific geographical location using only a set of coordinates. The target was a Soviet submarine base located in Severomorsk, Russia. The remote viewer was given a set of coordinates and asked to describe the location without any prior knowledge of what it was. The remote viewer, using the standard protocols, entered a state of deep relaxation and focused on the coordinates. As they accessed their subconscious mind, they began to describe what they perceived: a large, enclosed structure, surrounded by water, with several cylindrical objects inside. They sketched what they saw, depicting a series of long, dark shapes within the enclosed structure. When the remote viewer's perceptions were compared to actual satellite imagery of the Severomorsk submarine base, the accuracy was striking. The enclosed structure matched the description of a dry dock, and the cylindrical objects corresponded to the submarines berthed inside. The level of detail and accuracy in the remote viewer's observations was far beyond what could be attributed to chance or guesswork. This case study demonstrates how an individual with focused thought can tap into quantum entanglement to see a distant aspect of reality. By using their focused thought, a remote viewer can tap into quantum entanglement to see a distant aspect of reality. This reiterates our central thesis: reality is malleable and can be influenced by our thoughts and beliefs. But how far can we truly extend the power of focused intention? What other reality hacking techniques might be unlocked by understanding the principles of quantum entanglement? And what happens when chaos magic and quantum entanglement combine? Let us now journey even deeper and explore the surprising connections between the universe and our minds. Could the key to bending reality lie not just in understanding quantum physics, but in recognizing our own intrinsic connection to the universe? What if the ancient mystics weren't just speaking metaphorically when they described the interconnectedness of all things? Let us now delve deeper into the Hermetic concept of microcosm and macrocosm and its surprising implications for quantum entanglement. The Hermetic concept of microcosm and macrocosm offers a profound framework for understanding the relationship between the individual and the universe. It posits that the universe, the macrocosm, is reflected in the individual, the microcosm, and vice versa. This is not merely a symbolic relationship. It is an assertion that the structure and function of the universe are mirrored within each individual, and the structure and function of each individual are mirrored within the universe. Think of it as a fractal pattern, where the same basic design repeats itself at different scales. A tree's branching pattern mirrors the pattern of rivers flowing to the ocean, or even the network of veins in your own body. This mirroring transcends simple analogy. It suggests a fundamental unity and interconnectedness. As the Emerald Tablet of Hermes Trismegistus famously proclaims, "As above, so below, as within, so without," a concise summary of this ancient wisdom. But how can we reconcile this ancient concept with the findings of modern science? Modern quantum physics, particularly the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, offers a tantalizing basis for understanding the microcosm-macrocosm relationship. Quantum entanglement suggests that particles can be linked in such a way that they share the same fate, regardless of the distance separating them. This defies classical physics, which posits that objects can only influence each other through local interactions. Instead, quantum entanglement implies a holistic interconnectedness, a web of relationships that spans the entire universe. Consider this. If quantum entanglement links particles across vast distances, could it also link the quantum processes occurring within us to events happening on a cosmic scale? Is it possible that the thoughts, emotions, and intentions we experience within our own minds are somehow connected to the unfolding of events in the universe at large? Chaos magic, in particular, embraces the microcosm-macrocosm principle as a practical tool for influencing reality. Magicians leverage this connection to create change in the external world by working with their internal states. The inner work of meditation, visualization, and emotional regulation is not simply a means of self-improvement. It is a way of directly influencing the outer world through the interconnectedness of the microcosm and macrocosm. For example, a magician might use focused intention and visualization to create a specific outcome, believing that their inner state will resonate with the corresponding events in the external world. This is not simply wishful thinking. It is an attempt to consciously align the microcosm with the desired state of the macrocosm. But is there any evidence that this inner work can have tangible effects on the outer world? To illustrate the power of this connection, let us consider the use of sigils in chaos magic. A sigil is a symbolic representation of a desired outcome, created by condensing a statement of intent into a unique visual form. The magician then charges the sigil with their intention, often through intense emotional arousal or altered states of consciousness. Once charged, the sigil is typically destroyed or forgotten, with the aim of releasing the intention into the subconscious mind. But here's what most people miss. The act of creating, charging, and releasing the sigil can be seen as a way of influencing quantum entanglement. By focusing their intention and emotion on the sigil, the magician is creating a coherent quantum state within their own mind, which then becomes entangled with the corresponding events in the external world. As the magician forgets the sigil, they release their conscious control, allowing the quantum entanglement to unfold and manifest the desired outcome. This is not to say that sigils always work, but it offers a compelling framework for understanding how intention can influence quantum reality. Synthesizing the microcosm and macrocosm, we can begin to see how the concept is not simply metaphorical. It serves as a blueprint for understanding how intention can influence quantum reality and create tangible results. By understanding the interconnectedness of all things, and by consciously aligning our inner states with desired external outcomes, we can begin to tap into the power of quantum entanglement and become active participants in the shaping of our own reality. But how can we develop the ability to consciously tap into quantum entanglement? Is there a structured method for training ourselves to harness this power? Let us now introduce the Entanglement Training System, a step-by-step guide designed to cultivate the ability to consciously tap into non-local consciousness. This is not a quick fix or a magic bullet. It is a process that requires dedication, discipline, and consistent practice. The training involves harnessing focus, intention, and emotional states, as well as understanding the microcosm-macrocosm connection. Think of it as learning to play a musical instrument. It takes time, effort, and consistent practice to master the skills required to create beautiful music. Similarly, it takes time, effort, and consistent practice to master the skills required to consciously tap into quantum entanglement. But what are the specific steps involved in this training system? Step 1. Deepening self-awareness. This involves practicing mindfulness and introspection to understand one's own thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. True self-awareness is crucial for identifying and challenging limiting beliefs that may be hindering the ability to influence reality. If you believe that you are powerless or incapable, it will be difficult to create change in your external world. Mindfulness exercises, such as meditation and journaling, can help develop self-awareness. Meditation allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, while journaling allows you to explore your beliefs and identify any limiting patterns. But how can we use these techniques to challenge our limiting beliefs? Consider this. If you find yourself repeatedly thinking negative thoughts about your ability to succeed, you can use mindfulness to observe these thoughts without getting carried away by them. You can then use journaling to explore the origins of these thoughts and challenge their validity. Are these thoughts based on real experiences, or are they simply limiting beliefs that you have internalized from others? By challenging your limiting beliefs, you can begin to create a more positive and empowering self-image, which will then enhance your ability to influence reality. It is imperative to become the observer of your mind. Then, once you are the observer of your mind, you can use the techniques of visualization and affirmation to build yourself up. What steps can you then take to strengthen your intention? Step 2. Cultivating focused intention. This step involves developing the ability to clearly and precisely formulate an intention and hold it in the mind. Techniques for strengthening intention include visualization and affirmations. Visualization involves creating a mental image of the desired outcome and infusing it with emotion. Affirmations involve repeating positive statements about the desired outcome. The key is to create a vivid and emotionally compelling mental image that you can hold in your mind for extended periods of time. Think of it as planting a seed in your mind and nurturing it with your attention and emotion. But how can we manage the emotions that may interfere with that focused intention? Step 3. Emotional regulation. Mastering the ability to control and direct one's emotions is paramount. Techniques for managing stress, anxiety, and other negative emotions that can interfere with focused intention are essential. Cultivating positive emotions such as gratitude, joy, and love can amplify the power of intention. If you are feeling stressed or anxious, it will be difficult to focus your intention on the desired outcome. Instead, your mind will be filled with worries and doubts, which will then weaken your ability to influence reality. So, how can we expand our alignment with the microcosm and macrocosm? Step 4. Microcosmic-macrocosmic alignment. This involves training oneself to consciously connect with the larger universe. Techniques such as nature meditation, contemplation of cosmic phenomena, and visualization exercises can facilitate connection with the macrocosm. Studying systems like astrology or the tree of life are useful as tools for understanding the relationship between the microcosm and macrocosm. If you feel disconnected from the universe, it will be difficult to tap into the power of quantum entanglement. By consciously connecting with the larger universe, you can begin to feel a sense of unity and interconnectedness, which will then enhance your ability to influence reality. But with this ability, what are the ethical implications? Synthesizing the entanglement training system, we can see that it is the most effective method for developing quantum non-locality. This training is not based on blind faith, but on the focused, disciplined practice of aligning inner states with desired external outcomes. It is a process of consciously tapping into the interconnectedness of all things and becoming an active participant in the shaping of our own reality. But with great power comes great responsibility. What are the ethical implications of reality hacking? Let us address the ethical implications of reality hacking. The ability to influence the quantum field is not to be taken lightly. The importance of considering the potential consequences of one's actions cannot be overstated. The principle of do no harm should be a guiding principle for all reality hacking endeavors. If you use your abilities for selfish gain or to manipulate others, you will ultimately create negative consequences for yourself and for the world around you. True power comes from aligning oneself with the greater good and using one's abilities to create positive change. It's crucial to understand that quantum entanglement implies a fundamental interconnectedness, so any action affects the whole. This means we affect each other across space and time. As we explore the potential of chaos magic and quantum physics, what other secrets might we discover? What happens when these forces combine? As we delve deeper into the mechanics of reality hacking, a fundamental question arises. How do our worldviews fundamentally shape our individual realities? Consider how different people, experiencing the same event, can perceive it so differently. One person might see an opportunity for growth, while another sees only a setback. Could it be that the lens through which we view the world dictates the very reality we experience? To understand this, we must first define worldview. A worldview is essentially a set of fundamental beliefs, values, and assumptions about the world and our place within it. It acts as a filter, shaping our perceptions, emotions, and behaviors, influencing how we interpret events and make decisions. But how do these internal filters interact with the quantum field, ultimately shaping our experiences of reality? In this section, we will explore this question, examining specific examples and practical implications of how our worldviews can become self-fulfilling prophecies. Let us now consider the very anatomy of a worldview. A worldview is more than just a collection of opinions. It is a comprehensive framework for understanding existence, a lens through which we perceive and interpret reality. Key components of this framework include beliefs, values, assumptions, expectations, and the narratives we tell ourselves about the world and our place within it. Think of it as a pair of glasses. If the lenses are tinted or distorted, they can dramatically alter our perception of the world, leading to vastly different experiences. Just as a rose-tinted lens can make everything appear more beautiful than it is, a pessimistic worldview can color every event with negativity. But how are these lenses formed, and can we change them? The formation of a worldview is a complex process shaped by both external and internal factors. External factors include our culture, education, and life experiences, particularly our early childhood experiences and cultural conditioning. These factors provide the initial framework for our understanding of the world, shaping our initial beliefs and values. Internal factors, on the other hand, include our personality, values, and the conscious choices we make about what to believe. While our early experiences and cultural conditioning play a significant role, we are not simply passive recipients of information. We can consciously choose to adopt or reject certain beliefs and values, shaping our worldview to align with our own personal experiences and aspirations. But what does this have to do with quantum physics? The key lies in understanding how our beliefs act as filters that influence our interaction with the quantum field. As we've discussed, the quantum field is a realm of infinite possibilities, where probabilities are constantly shifting and coalescing. Our beliefs act as filters that influence which of these probabilities we perceive, shaping our individual experiences of reality. If we believe that the world is a dangerous and hostile place, we are more likely to perceive threats and negative events, reinforcing our initial belief. Conversely, if we believe that the world is a benevolent and abundant place, we are more likely to perceive opportunities and positive events, again reinforcing our initial belief. Therefore, by understanding the nature of reality, we can then understand the way our beliefs impact it. But what does this look like in practice? To illustrate this point, let us now consider two contrasting worldviews, scientific materialism and animism, and explore how these divergent perspectives can shape individual experiences of reality. Scientific materialism is a worldview that emphasizes objective observation, empirical evidence, and the laws of physics. It views the universe as a purely physical system governed by deterministic laws, tending to dismiss or downplay subjective experiences and non-physical phenomena. In this worldview, consciousness is often seen as a mere byproduct of brain activity, and the universe is viewed as a cold, impersonal machine. But how does this worldview manifest in our experiences? Scientific materialism shapes experiences of reality by focusing on external causes, reductionism, and a belief in a deterministic universe. Individuals holding this worldview tend to seek explanations for events in terms of material factors and physical laws, often overlooking the role of consciousness, intention, or subjective experience. This can lead to a sense of separation from nature, a reliance on external authority, and a feeling of being a cog in a vast, uncaring machine. The world becomes a collection of objects to be manipulated and controlled, rather than a living, interconnected web of relationships. But is this the only way to see the world? In stark contrast, animism is a worldview that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things, the presence of spirits in nature, and the importance of subjective experience. It views the universe as a living, conscious entity, where everything is imbued with spirit and meaning. This worldview tends to embrace intuition, symbolism, and the power of consciousness, seeing the world as a dynamic and interactive realm. Consider how this might alter one's daily experiences. Animism shapes experiences of reality by focusing on relationships, reciprocity, and a belief in a living, conscious universe. Individuals holding this worldview tend to see themselves as part of a larger web of life, connected to all things through shared consciousness. This can lead to a sense of belonging, a deep connection to the natural world, and a reverence for the sacredness of all life. The world becomes a source of wisdom, guidance, and connection, rather than a resource to be exploited. Is it any wonder, then, that indigenous cultures who hold an animistic worldview treat the earth with such reverence? The placebo effect offers a compelling illustration of how different worldviews can shape individual experiences of reality and influence manifestation. In medical studies, The placebo effect refers to the phenomenon where patients experience a real and measurable improvement in their condition simply because they believe they are receiving effective treatment, even if they are only given a sugar pill or sham procedure. This effect demonstrates the power of belief and expectation to influence our physical and mental states. A patient who holds a worldview that embraces the power of the mind-body connection may experience a stronger placebo effect than a patient who holds a purely materialistic worldview. But what does this mean for our understanding of reality? Ultimately, our worldviews are not fixed but malleable constructs that can be consciously chosen and shaped to create more fulfilling and empowering realities. By understanding the role of beliefs, assumptions, and expectations in shaping our perceptions and experiences, we can begin to consciously reshape our worldviews to align with our deepest values and aspirations. This is not simply a matter of positive thinking. It is a process of consciously engaging with the quantum field, influencing the probabilities we perceive, and creating a reality that reflects our true potential. But is this power limitless? And what are the constraints on our ability to shape reality? This is what we will explore next. What if the reality you perceive is not an objective truth, but rather a carefully constructed illusion crafted by your own mind? Could our unconscious biases be acting as hidden architects, shaping our worldviews and limiting our ability to influence the quantum field? As we continue our exploration into the fascinating intersection of chaos magic and quantum physics, we must now confront a critical element in reality hacking: the pervasive influence of cognitive biases. As we discussed in the previous section, our individual beliefs act as filters, influencing the probabilities we perceive and shaping our experience of reality. But lurking beneath the surface of our conscious awareness are cognitive biases, systematic patterns of deviation from norm or rationality in judgment. These biases, often unconscious mental shortcuts, distort our perceptions, leading to inaccurate conclusions and ultimately constructing our individual realities in ways we may not even realize. But how exactly do these biases work, and how can we overcome them to become more effective reality hackers? Consider the vast ocean of information that constantly bombards our senses. Our brains, in an attempt to make sense of this overwhelming influx, employ various simplifying strategies or heuristics. While often helpful in making quick decisions, these heuristics can also lead to systematic errors in judgment. Let us now consider some specific examples. Confirmation bias, for instance, leads us to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs while conveniently ignoring contradictory evidence. The availability heuristic makes us overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily recalled, often due to their vividness or emotional impact. And anchoring bias causes us to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive, even if it is irrelevant or inaccurate. It is clear that these are only a few biases of many, but what do they do on a deeper level? Now, let's think about how these cognitive biases distort our worldviews, reinforcing limiting beliefs and hindering our ability to influence reality. Confirmation bias, as mentioned, creates an echo chamber of self-affirming information, preventing us from seeing the bigger picture or considering alternative perspectives. The availability heuristic can amplify irrational fears and anxieties, leading us to make choices based on emotion rather than reason. And anchoring bias can distort our perception of value, making us vulnerable to manipulation and poor decision-making. But what is the result of all of this? To illustrate the profound impact of cognitive biases, let's consider two individuals with contrasting worldviews, one with a victim mentality and another who believes they can overcome anything. The individual with a victim mentality might be plagued by confirmation bias, selectively attending to evidence that confirms their belief that the world is out to get them. They might interpret neutral events as hostile or malicious, reinforcing their sense of powerlessness and perpetuating a self-fulfilling prophecy of suffering. In contrast, the individual who believes they can overcome anything will actively seek out evidence of their own capabilities and opportunities for growth, interpreting setbacks as temporary challenges and reinforcing their belief in their own resilience and agency. But the ultimate question remains, can you change your biases? Fortunately, we are not doomed to be passive victims of our cognitive biases. There are practical techniques we can employ to become more aware of our biases and create space for more rational thought. Mindfulness meditation, for example, can help us cultivate a greater awareness of our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to observe our biases in action without judgment. Critical thinking skills, such as questioning assumptions, evaluating evidence, and considering alternative perspectives, can help us challenge our biases and arrive at more accurate conclusions. And actively seeking out information that challenges our beliefs and engaging in constructive dialogue with those who hold different views can broaden our perspectives and break free from the echo chamber of confirmation bias. Let us now turn to a powerful technique for consciously altering one's worldview to create new possibilities and influence reality: perspective shifting. What if we could consciously adopt different frames of reference, challenge our assumptions, and experiment with alternative beliefs, thereby opening up new pathways of manifestation and reality hacking? This is precisely the essence of perspective shifting, a technique deeply intertwined with the principles of chaos magic. Perspective shifting, in its essence, is about recognizing that our current worldview is not the only possible way of seeing the world. It's about acknowledging that our beliefs are just that, beliefs, and not necessarily objective truths. This echoes the principles we've previously discussed regarding the double slit experiment. Remember, by changing the way we observe reality, we can force it to reveal new realities. Just as the observer in the quantum realm influences the outcome of an experiment, so too can we influence our personal reality by consciously shifting our perspective. But how do we accomplish this? There are many practical techniques for shifting perspective, including reframing, role-playing, and adopting different personas. Reframing involves changing the way we interpret an event or situation, focusing on its positive aspects or potential benefits. Instead of seeing a setback as a failure, we can reframe it as an opportunity for growth and learning. Role-playing involves stepping into the shoes of someone else and seeing the world from their point of view, breaking free from our own egocentric biases. And adopting different personas involves consciously embodying the beliefs, values, and behaviors of a particular archetype or role model. Let's consider real-world applications of this. Consider someone struggling with financial limitations. They might shift their belief by imagining how a successful stockbroker thinks, acts, and manipulates the market. By adopting the persona of a day trader, they might begin to see opportunities for wealth creation that were previously invisible to them. Or someone struggling with social anxiety might adopt a new persona by imagining how a charismatic guru leads their followers. By embodying the confidence and charisma of a guru, they might begin to overcome their fears and connect with others more authentically. The key is not to blindly imitate these personas, but to use them as a tool for expanding our own perspectives and challenging our limiting beliefs. What's more, this concept is not new. This conscious shift in perspective aligns with both quantum principles and Hermetic magic. Recall the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, which suggests a correspondence between the microcosm and the macrocosm. By shifting our inner state of consciousness, we can influence the outer world of our experiences. Hermes Trismegistus might have said, "Change your mind and you change your fate." But is this manipulation safe? This brings us to a critical ethical dilemma. If we can consciously manipulate our reality through perspective shifting, what responsibility do we have to those around us? Is it selfish to believe something different to create a reality that diverges from the shared consensus? Is it ethical to be happy if other people are not? What if your happiness is at the expense of someone else? These questions cut to the very heart of our understanding of reality and our interconnectedness with others. But quantum physics may provide a surprising answer. Quantum physics suggests that there is no true objective observer, that our very act of observation influences the reality we perceive. Could this mean that the idea that we are all one is not simply a hippie belief, but a literal, provable reality at the quantum level? If so, then perhaps the act of consciously shifting our own reality is not an act of selfishness, but an act of co-creation, contributing to the evolution of the collective consciousness. But we're just scratching the surface of this. What we will soon discover is even more shocking. This brings us to the observer effect, which serves as the core mechanism through which intention shapes reality. Our expectations influence what we perceive, creating a feedback loop that reinforces our beliefs and experiences. If we expect to succeed, we are more likely to take actions that lead to success, and vice versa. But this raises even more fundamental questions about the nature of reality itself. But is there even such a thing as reality? Is there such a thing as time? And do the answers even matter? Perhaps time and space are not fixed entities, but rather fluid and malleable constructs that can be influenced by our consciousness. Quantum entanglement suggests that particles can be instantaneously connected across vast distances, seemingly defying the limitations of space and time. What if time, space, and quantum entanglement are deeply intertwined? What if the very building blocks of reality are not even real? Imagine a magician who has mastered the art of manipulating space-time. Non-Euclidean geometry suggests that space can be curved and distorted, challenging our intuitive understanding of the universe. Could the magician be a space-time bender, consciously influencing the fabric of reality through the power of intention? By understanding the principles of non-Euclidean geometry, we can begin to grasp how chaos magic might be used to create personal realities that defy the conventional laws of physics. But to what end? What is the ultimate goal of reality hacking, and what awaits us at the furthest reaches of consciousness? Seek the light, and you shall find the answer. Modern quantum physics has revealed the universe to be a far stranger place than we ever imagined, challenging our most basic assumptions about reality. But could it be that we've been looking at this all wrong? Modern quantum physics, like chaos magic, can be used as a vehicle to unlock new experiences. Our unconscious biases and experiences have constructed a reality that, while helpful for navigating the world, is inherently limited. But what if we could become aware of these limitations and consciously reshape our perception of reality? As we discussed in previous sections, our beliefs act as filters, influencing the probabilities we perceive and shaping our experience of reality. Additionally, our individual cognitive biases systematically distort our perceptions, leading to inaccurate conclusions and constructing our individual realities in ways we may not even realize. It's as if we are each living in our own unique movie, with our thoughts, feelings, and experiences shaping the plot, characters, and scenery. This leads us to a profound realization. There is no single, objective, true reality, but rather a multitude of personal realities coexisting within the larger quantum field. Each of us is living in a slightly different version of the universe, shaped by our unique experiences and perspectives. Imagine the quantum field as a vast, infinite playground where countless personal realities are being created and explored, a limitless ocean of possibilities where anything is possible. Each of us has the power to create our own unique sandcastle on this beach, shaping it according to our desires and intentions. The quantum field isn't a fixed entity, but a dynamic and malleable space that responds to our thoughts, beliefs, and intentions. Therefore, the very act of observing and interacting with the quantum field influences its behavior, reinforcing the idea that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality. But how can we navigate this quantum playground and consciously shape our personal realities? To navigate this quantum playground, we must first understand the concept of reality tunnels, a term coined by counterculture icon Robert Anton Wilson. What are reality tunnels, and how do they relate to our individual experience? Think of reality tunnels as the specific filters or lenses through which each individual experiences the world, constructed by our unique combination of beliefs, experiences, and cognitive biases. These tunnels act as pathways, shaping our perceptions and interpretations of events. Every individual, therefore, has a personal experience of reality. When we encounter new information, our reality tunnels determine how we process it, what we pay attention to, and how we interpret its meaning. Someone with a scientific worldview might interpret a lightning strike as a natural phenomenon caused by atmospheric conditions, while someone with a more spiritual worldview might see it as a divine sign or a manifestation of energetic forces. These differing interpretations are not simply matters of opinion, they represent fundamentally different ways of experiencing reality. But can we change these fundamental ways of thinking? Consider a simple example, a sunset. One person might see it as a mundane event, the Earth simply rotating away from the sun, while another might view it as a breathtaking spectacle, a divine masterpiece painted across the sky. Or consider a protest. One person might view it as a justified expression of democratic rights, while another might see it as a dangerous disruption of social order. Same event, vastly different realities. This brings us back to our earlier discussions of quantum physics and hermetic magic. Just as the observer influences the behavior of quantum particles, our beliefs and expectations shape our personal realities. And just as the hermetic principle of as above, so below, suggests a correspondence between the inner and outer worlds, our reality tunnels influence our external experiences. How, then, do we become aware of our own reality tunnels, and how can we consciously choose to expand or shift them? Deconstructing our personal realities requires a willingness to question our assumptions, challenge our beliefs, and embrace uncertainty. It's about becoming aware of the filters through which we experience the world and recognizing that these filters are not fixed or immutable. We can change our perspective. Think of it as taking apart a complex machine to understand how it works, examining each component individually, and then reassembling it in a way that better serves our purposes. But where do we even begin? The first step is to identify our core beliefs, listing out every belief an individual might possess to see how they have built their reality. This could be done by starting with listing your opinions, political affiliations, and spiritual beliefs. What do you believe about money, relationships, success, health, and the nature of reality itself? Write everything down, even if it seems obvious or insignificant. You will be surprised at what you uncover. The second step is to identify your cognitive biases. How does confirmation bias lead you to seek out information that confirms your existing beliefs while conveniently ignoring contradictory evidence? How does the Dunning-Kruger effect might make some feel they are incapable of actually listing out all of their beliefs, simply because they don't know what they don't know? And the third step is to perform a reality check. Question why you hold specific views and ask for more information. When performing a reality check, it's crucial to emphasize that the why is more important than the what because, in many cases, people are not thinking for themselves. They are simply regurgitating beliefs and ideologies they have inherited from their families, cultures, or social groups. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? What evidence supports it? What are the alternative perspectives? Am I truly convinced of its validity, or am I simply accepting it because it's comfortable or convenient? This process can be uncomfortable, even painful, as it forces us to confront our own ignorance and biases. However, it's an essential step in deconstructing our personal realities and opening ourselves up to new possibilities. But once we've deconstructed our realities, what do we do next? Once you've deconstructed your view of reality, you can reconstruct it according to your desires and intentions, consciously choosing the beliefs, values, and perspectives that will shape your experience. Remember that whatever is chosen now becomes the quantum reality you experience. This is not about blind faith or wishful thinking. It's about aligning your inner world with your outer goals. But how exactly can we go about doing this? The first step in reconstructing your reality is to identify your desired realities, listing out what you hope to see in your life. What do you want to experience, achieve, and create? What kind of person do you want to become? The key here is to truly want these goals instead of simply thinking you should have them. Are you chasing someone else's dream or your own? The second step is aligning your beliefs. You can't simply believe something without any real commitment or emotional investment. You must cultivate a deep, unwavering conviction in your ability to manifest your desires. Question whether or not you really think you are deserving of what you want. Do you believe you are worthy of love, success, and happiness? If not, what limiting beliefs are holding you back? And the third step involves planting the seed. Remember that reality is not instant. It must be nurtured like a seed. The same way a seed requires water and food, new beliefs must also be reinforced through consistent action, visualization, and affirmation. Surround yourself with positive influences, seek out mentors and role models, and celebrate your successes along the way. As your new beliefs take root and begin to blossom, you will start to see tangible changes in your outer world, reflecting the transformation that has taken place within you. What does this mean? By consciously shaping your beliefs, worldviews, and intentions, you become the architect of your own universe. A quantum magician who can manipulate the probabilities of the quantum field to manifest your desires, using intentional belief, worldview, and quantum entanglement. The limitations are not external, but internal, residing in the limiting beliefs and cognitive biases that we have unconsciously accepted as our reality. We are not passive victims of fate, but active participants in the co-creation of our own experiences. The only limitations, therefore, are the ones we place on ourselves. Is it possible that the universe is far more responsive to our intentions than we ever imagined? And what awaits us as we continue to explore the frontiers of consciousness and reality hacking? Seek the light, and you shall see. Building upon our exploration of personal realities and how each individual acts as the quantum magician of their own experiences, let us now turn to a realm that extends far beyond the individual self, the realm of shared realities. If, as we have seen, our individual experiences of reality are not objective truths, but rather subjective constructs shaped by our unique worldviews and biases, what happens when these individual realities intersect and influence one another? Is it possible that the very fabric of reality is woven not just from individual threads of consciousness, but from a collective tapestry of shared beliefs, emotions, and intentions? And if so, how do we influence these shared realities and contribute to positive change on a larger scale? This brings us to the next crucial step in reality hacking, moving from individual transformation to collective transformation. While individual experiences are subjective, there is undeniably a collective dimension to reality, a shared space where our thoughts, feelings, and actions ripple outwards, affecting others in ways we may not even realize. Just as a single drop of water can create ripples that spread across an entire pond, our individual consciousness can contribute to a larger collective consciousness that shapes the world around us. The implications of this, however, are staggering, since if one person is changed, does that mean that this influence has an ability to change the whole? The secret, fellow mystics, lies in understanding that our individual transformations are not isolated events, but rather integral parts of a larger, interconnected web of consciousness. Each positive change we make within ourselves has the potential to ripple outwards, inspiring and influencing others, ultimately contributing to a more harmonious and enlightened shared reality. This brings us to a fascinating concept that sheds light on the interconnectedness of all things: morphic resonance. Morphic resonance, a theory proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake, offers a compelling explanation for how past experiences and patterns influence future events and behaviors. In essence, Sheldrake suggests that there is a collective memory that transcends individual minds, a field of information that shapes the possibilities and probabilities of the world around us. Think of it as a cosmic internet, where information is not stored in individual computers, but rather distributed across a vast, interconnected network, and the implications for shared experience becomes immediately apparent. This cosmic internet means that what one person learns or experiences can be accessed by others, even if they are not directly connected. Building upon this, morphic resonance posits that reality is not constructed independently, but rather shaped by previous history, by the cumulative experiences of countless individuals throughout time. But how might this relate to quantum physics? The idea of morphic resonance may seem far-fetched at first, but it aligns surprisingly well with certain concepts in quantum physics. Quantum entanglement, for example, suggests that particles can be linked together in such a way that they share the same fate, regardless of the distance separating them. Could it be that quantum entanglement provides a mechanism for the transfer of information across the morphic field, allowing past experiences to influence future events and behaviors? As we've explored, morphic resonance implies that reality is not constructed independently, but rather shaped by previous history. This brings us to the concept of morphic fields. What then are morphic fields, and how do they influence our shared realities? Imagine a vast, invisible field of collective experiences that surrounds and permeates everything, shaping the possibilities and probabilities of the world around us. This is the essence of morphic fields, the idea that each individual contributes to the overall field through their thoughts, feelings, and actions. Every time we learn a new skill, overcome a challenge, or experience a moment of profound insight, we add to the overall morphic field, making it easier for others to do the same. It's as if we are collectively creating a pathway through the jungle, and the more people who follow that pathway, the easier it becomes for others to navigate. But how are these fields reinforced? Every action, thought, and emotion reinforces the morphic field, contributing to the patterns and information contained within. Positive actions, such as acts of kindness, compassion, and creativity, strengthen the positive aspects of the field, while negative actions, such as violence, hatred, and fear, reinforce the negative aspects. This is a crucial point, because it means that our individual choices have a far-reaching impact, shaping not only our own realities, but also the realities of others. But is there any evidence to support these somewhat abstract and esoteric notions of shared fields and collective consciousness? Let us now turn to some fascinating examples that suggest the existence of these phenomena. One of the most intriguing examples of shared fields and collective consciousness is the 100th monkey phenomenon, which describes the apparent spontaneous spread of a new behavior among monkeys on different islands. In the 1950s, Japanese primatologists observed that a group of monkeys on the island of Kashima had learned to wash sweet potatoes before eating them, removing the dirt and grit. Over time, more and more monkeys on the island adopted this new habit, and once a critical mass was achieved, approximately 100 monkeys, the behavior suddenly spread to other islands, even though there was no direct contact between the groups. The monkeys were tapping into the morphic field, with knowledge or information transferred between them. But what was going on? This phenomenon suggests that once a certain threshold of awareness or knowledge is reached within a population, it can somehow become accessible to others, even those who are geographically isolated. It's as if the monkeys were tapping into a collective consciousness, a shared field of information that transcends individual minds. While the exact mechanisms behind this phenomenon remain a mystery, it offers a compelling illustration of how shared experiences can influence the behavior of entire populations. But this isn't the only example, is it? Another fascinating example comes from the Global Consciousness Project, a scientific study that analyzes data from a network of random number generators, RNGs, located around the world. These RNGs are designed to produce completely random sequences of numbers, but researchers have observed that during times of major global events, such as terrorist attacks, natural disasters, and moments of collective celebration, the output of the RNGs becomes less random and more structured. The Global Consciousness Project indicates the influence of collective events on the physical world. But what does this mean? Researchers hypothesize that these correlations suggest a connection between collective human emotions and the underlying structure of reality, almost like the whole world is connected at a quantum level during events. It's as if our collective consciousness has the power to influence the very fabric of space and time, creating subtle but measurable changes in the behavior of random systems. We are, it seems, more interconnected than we ever imagined. Consider how these examples point towards something profound. What do the 100th monkey phenomenon and the Global Consciousness Project reveal about the nature of reality? These examples suggest that collective consciousness is not merely a philosophical concept, but a real, measurable phenomenon that can influence the world around us. It appears we are all entangled in a collective consciousness that we are all a part of. Is it possible, then, that our individual thoughts, feelings, and actions have a ripple effect that extends far beyond our immediate surroundings, shaping the very fabric of reality? And if so, what are the ethical implications of this interconnectedness? But we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next will truly make you re-evaluate everything. Building upon our understanding of morphic fields and how individual actions contribute to the overall field, we now arrive at a critical juncture. How are these fields sustained, amplified, and ultimately, how do they shape our shared realities? If, as we have explored, every action, thought, and emotion contributes to the morphic field, what are the mechanisms that govern the flow of information within these fields? This brings us to a fascinating phenomenon known as emotional contagion. Emotional contagion, simply put, is the tendency for emotions to spread between individuals, impacting shared realities in profound ways. It's the subtle, often unconscious process by which we catch the feelings of those around us, influencing our own emotional states and contributing to a collective emotional atmosphere. Imagine, if you will, a room full of people, some anxious, others calm, yet as they begin to speak, everyone seems to become anxious. But how is it that a mere emotion can spread so quickly and effectively? It is crucial to understand that emotions aren't isolated, personal experiences, but are able to spread from the individual and into the world. The key to understanding this lies in the fascinating discovery of mirror neurons, specialized brain cells that allow us to internally simulate and understand each other's emotional states. When we observe someone experiencing an emotion, our mirror neurons fire in a way that mimics their neural activity, allowing us to feel what they are feeling, almost as if we are experiencing the emotion ourselves. This neurological process allows us to empathize with others, connect on a deeper level, and even, quite literally, copy each other's emotions. But what happens when this emotional contagion interacts with the morphic field? Emotional contagion acts as a powerful force in strengthening the morphic field, reinforcing shared realities and amplifying collective emotional states. When emotions spread through a group, they create a unified emotional signature that resonates within the morphic field, making it easier for those emotions to spread further. Imagine a single voice singing a particular tune, but then add a chorus, then an entire stadium. This is the effect of emotional contagion on the morphic field. Could it be that collective emotional states are amplified through morphic resonance, creating a feedback loop that shapes our shared experiences? This brings us to a crucial question. Can we actually see this at play in society at large? Consider the stock markets, where mass euphoria or panic can drive extreme market behaviors, often defying rational analysis. The dot-com bubble of the late 1990s, for example, was fueled by collective irrational exuberance, as investors, caught up in the hype surrounding internet companies, drove stock prices to unsustainable levels. This collective delusion created a self-fulfilling prophecy, as rising stock prices attracted even more investors, further inflating the bubble, with many early adopters becoming overnight millionaires, while millions more lost their entire fortunes. Is it possible that emotions, not rational financial analysis, were the true driving force of the markets? Conversely, the 2008 financial crisis serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of collective fear and panic. As the housing market collapsed and financial institutions teetered on the brink of ruin, fear spread rapidly through the financial system, leading to a credit crunch, bank failures, and a global recession. In both cases, emotional contagion played a significant role, amplifying market trends and creating extreme volatility that ultimately harmed millions of people. But the markets are not the only place this plays out, and emotional contagion can also take on more dangerous forms. Emotional contagion plays a critical role in the formation and mobilization of political movements. Charismatic leaders often evoke strong emotions that unite and mobilize large groups, inspiring them to take action and pursue shared goals. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches, for example, served as catalysts for social change, igniting collective hope and determination that helped to dismantle segregation and advance civil rights. These speeches tapped into the morphic field, rewriting history. But fellow seekers, can it always be used for good? It is easy to forget that social media can amplify these emotional states, creating echo chambers where individuals are exposed only to information and opinions that confirm their existing beliefs, reinforcing polarization and division. Emotional contagion also plays a role in the phenomenon of mass hysteria, where irrational fears spread rapidly through a population, leading to irrational behavior and social unrest. Consider, for example, the Salem witch trials, a historical example of collective paranoia and fear that led to the unjust persecution and execution of innocent people. What was the source of this collective hysteria? The fear of communism in the 1950s, fueled by demagogic politicians like Senator Joseph McCarthy, led to McCarthyism, a period of intense political repression and paranoia. Countless individuals were blacklisted, harassed, and persecuted based on unfounded accusations of communist sympathies. The Salem witch trials and McCarthyism both stand as chilling reminders of the dangers of unchecked emotional contagion and the importance of critical thinking and skepticism. This brings us to the next critical question. If emotions, spread amongst people, can cause such havoc, can the inverse be true? If collective intention can cause such havoc, what about positive change? It would seem that collective intention has the power to influence reality more powerfully than individual intention. Group rituals and mass meditations serve as techniques for amplifying intention through shared focus and emotion, and, when done correctly, can cause a profound impact on reality. What are these group rituals, and how do they create collective intention? Group rituals, when designed well, involve shared symbolism, rhythmic chanting, and synchronized movements that generate a unified state of consciousness. This unified state can amplify the collective intention, creating a powerful force for change. Indigenous ceremonies, for example, often involve elaborate group rituals that connect participants to nature, each other, and the spiritual realm, reinforcing cultural values and promoting social cohesion. Religious gatherings, too, serve to unify their audiences, creating a shared sense of purpose and belonging. And what of the impact of the morphic fields? Mass meditations, often practiced for positive change, involve large groups of people focusing their attention on specific intentions, such as world peace, healing, or environmental protection. Proponents of mass meditation claim that these practices can have a global impact, reducing conflict, promoting harmony, and even influencing weather patterns. The transcendental meditation movement's Maharishi effect, for example, claimed reduced crime rates during periods of mass meditation. If true, this would suggest the enormous power of focused intention. However, where does all of this leave us? If individual intentions can influence individual realities, then could collective intentions influence shared reality? Imagine reality as a song, where individual voices, intentions, contribute to a larger harmony. If individual voices are discordant, the song will be unpleasant and chaotic. But if the voices are harmonized, the song will be beautiful and uplifting. If the collective intention of a large group of people is to push for peace, it may very well come to fruition. However, what steps are required to make this quantum choir a reality? First and foremost, it requires spreading awareness of the power of collective intention and the interconnectedness of all things. People must understand that their thoughts, feelings, and actions have a ripple effect, influencing not only their own lives, but also the lives of others. If, in order to make it a reality, people have to believe it is actually real, then how do we make it believable? Could it be that even world leaders would be on board, given the chance? Ultimately, the goal is to create a shared consciousness, a collective awareness that transcends individual boundaries and unites humanity in a common purpose. Quantum entanglement, as we have explored, suggests that there may be non-local connections between particles, implying that consciousness itself may be non-local, existing beyond the confines of individual brains. Could it be that quantum entanglement will eventually be the singular uniting force of humanity? While we've come so far, we are only scratching the surface of the possibilities. What comes next will truly make you re-evaluate everything. As we've explored, reality is not a monolithic, objective entity, but rather a tapestry woven from individual perceptions, shaped by our unique cognitive biases and worldviews. Each of us, in effect, wears a unique pair of lenses through which we interpret the world, coloring our experiences and shaping our understanding. But what if we told you that even time, that seemingly immutable constant, is not as fixed as we believe? Consider time as yet another layer of perception, a framework we impose upon the ceaseless flow of existence. While we often speak of time as a singular, linear progression, it exists on two distinct levels: objective and subjective. Objective time is what we measure with clocks and calendars, a consistent and quantifiable metric that governs our schedules and synchronizes our lives. But there is also subjective time, the time that ebbs and flows based on our individual experiences, emotions, and states of consciousness. But can our manipulation of subjective time actually change objective reality? Is it possible that our minds, entangled with the very fabric of spacetime, can warp the timelines around us? Ponder this for a moment. Could time, as we perceive it, be less of an unyielding river and more of a quantum ocean, its currents influenced by the winds of human consciousness? Now that we've given you something to chew on, let's dive deeper. The concept of bending time often conjures images of science fiction, but in reality, it is simply altering our perception of it. We've all experienced this phenomenon in our daily lives. A watched pot never boils, as the saying goes, while time flies when you're having fun. These common expressions hint at the malleable nature of our temporal experience, revealing how easily our minds can distort the flow of time. However, can we take control of this phenomenon? Chaos magic offers techniques to intentionally bend one's subjective experience of time. Intention and visualization are two crucial tools in this process. By focusing our intent on a specific outcome and vividly visualizing its manifestation, we can, in effect, accelerate the perceived passage of time, drawing the desired reality closer to us. The real secret ingredient to chaos magic, though, is simply believing that it will work. Consider the scientific concept of time dilation, where time is experienced differently at different speeds. Astronauts, for example, experience time dilation in space due to their high speeds and altered gravity. Near-death experiences and accidents often seem to slow down time, allowing individuals to process information and react with superhuman speed. Are these just quirks of biology, or are they glimpses into a deeper truth about the nature of time? What if our intentional belief is the key ingredient? By training your mind to operate at a higher frequency, to process information faster and more efficiently, you can effectively dilate the world around you. Is it possible that by mastering our inner states, we can become the masters of our own temporal experience? But how can we apply this to the big picture? Let's reiterate objective and subjective time with an additional idea. Objective time is an illusion, while subjective time is real. Objective time only appears to be linear, a neat and orderly progression of cause and effect, when subjective time is constantly changing, warping, and folding in on itself. To truly understand the implications of this, we must delve into the wild and mind-bending world of quantum mechanics. Here, we have the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. Every quantum measurement causes the universe to split into multiple parallel timelines. Each timeline represents a different possible outcome of the measurement, a branching path in the infinite forest of potential realities. While controversial, this interpretation provides a compelling framework for understanding the non-linear aspects of time and the potential for consciousness to influence reality. But it gets deeper. If all possible timelines exist simultaneously, can we somehow borrow time from other timelines? Can we tap into these alternate realities, drawing upon their potential to shape our present moment? What if time isn't simply linear, but a series of non-tangible realities, coexisting and overlapping, waiting to be influenced by our will? The implications, if true, would rewrite the very foundations of human existence. This is where chaos magic merges with quantum physics. Focus, intention, and visualization can collapse timelines for new outcomes. By focusing our will and vividly imagining a desired reality, we may be able to collapse new timelines into existence, drawing them from the realm of potentiality into the realm of actuality. But does this mean that there are ethical consequences to our actions? Consider these ethical questions. Does borrowing time affect alternate versions of yourself existing on other timelines? What are the potential consequences of altering the course of history, even on a personal level? What are the ethics? These questions lead us into the hazy world of chronomancy. Chronomancy is the ancient art of divining and manipulating time, an ancient practice that aimed to perceive and influence temporal events. This practice, shrouded in mystery and whispered about in occult circles, offers a glimpse into humanity's long-held fascination with the nature of time. But is it possible these ancient peoples knew more than scientists do today? By now, you can understand the connection between chronomancy, modern chaos magic, and quantum physics. Chronomancy offers a set of techniques for interacting with time. Chaos magic provides a framework for understanding how intention and belief can influence reality, and quantum physics offers a theoretical basis for the non-linear nature of time and the existence of multiple timelines. Could it be that these three traditions are simply different facets of the same underlying truth? Ancient techniques from chronomancy included meditation and altered states of consciousness. These practices, often involving the use of specific symbols, incantations, and rituals, were designed to induce a state of heightened awareness, allowing practitioners to perceive and influence the flow of time. But how could these ancient practices be so effective? Examples of chronomancy can be found in different cultures. The Egyptian concept of cyclical time, for instance, is reflected in the rituals associated with the sun god Ra, who is believed to die each night and be reborn each morning, symbolizing the eternal cycle of creation and destruction. The Greek concept of kairos, the opportune moment, highlights the importance of timing and seizing the right moment for action and decision-making. The Celtic concept of thin places, where the veil between worlds is thin, allowing access to different timelines, is yet another expression of humanity's enduring fascination with the mysteries of time. But what does it all mean? By synthesizing chronomancy with modern understanding of quantum physics and chaos magic, we can see how these traditions are interconnected. Ancient practitioners understood aspects of quantum reality before it was ever studied in labs, tapping into the power of non-local consciousness to influence the flow of time. By engaging in intense meditation, it is possible to experience time non-locally and access new timelines for our consciousness to manifest in the material world. What if the very fabric of reality allowed us to bypass limitations we thought were set in stone? As we've explored the ability of consciousness to affect both time and space through quantum entanglement and chronomancy, it becomes clear that time, as we understand it, is not as linear as we thought. But to what extent can our thoughts and intentions influence reality? Consider the phenomenon of quantum tunneling, the ability of a quantum particle to pass through a potential barrier even if it doesn't have enough energy to overcome it classically. Imagine throwing a ball at a wall. In classical physics, if you don't throw it hard enough, it will simply bounce back. However, in the quantum world, there's a chance, however small, that the ball will simply appear on the other side of the wall, having tunneled through it. This isn't science fiction. It's a scientifically verified phenomenon. But how is this possible? What allows a particle to seemingly defy the laws of classical physics and tunnel through barriers that might otherwise seem impossible? The secret lies in the probabilistic nature of the quantum world. Instead of existing in a single, defined location, a quantum particle exists as a wave function, a mathematical description of the probability of finding the particle in a specific location. Think of it as a cloud of possibilities, where the particle could be anywhere within that cloud. This cloud of possibilities is known as superposition. The particle exists in all possible states and locations until measured. When we observe or measure the particle, the wave function collapses and the particle chooses a specific location. But until that measurement occurs, the particle exists in a superposition of all possibilities, allowing it to, statistically, be on the other side of the barrier. But what mechanism makes this possible? It's here we can theorize that the quantum field provides the backdrop through which tunneling happens. Consider that the quantum field connects every particle of reality. As we've previously explored, everything is connected, and tunneling relies on that interconnection to function. But how can chaos magic help us manipulate quantum tunneling to hack reality? It's important to remember that what seems impossible may merely be improbable. In chaos magic, focused intention is key. Relate this back to the belief that certain outcomes are more probable when focused on. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about consciously influencing the probability of a desired outcome by aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with it. After all, if one focuses attention on a particular aspect of reality, then it can change. But let's take a step back and examine how quantum tunneling manifests in the natural world, for these examples are key to illustrating its significance. Quantum tunneling isn't just some esoteric phenomenon confined to the laboratory. It plays a crucial role in many natural processes, including photosynthesis, nuclear fusion, and even the origin of life itself. Are these processes all connected? Consider photosynthesis, the process by which plants convert sunlight into chemical energy. Quantum tunneling is essential for this process, allowing electrons to tunnel through energetic barriers that would otherwise prevent them from reaching their destination. Without quantum tunneling, plants would not be able to efficiently convert sunlight into energy, and life as we know it would be impossible. How much of life depends on this phenomenon? Nuclear fusion, the process that powers the sun and other stars, also relies heavily on quantum tunneling. In order for nuclear fusion to occur, atomic nuclei must overcome the strong electrostatic repulsion that pushes them apart. Quantum tunneling allows these nuclei to tunnel through this barrier, enabling them to fuse together and release vast amounts of energy. Without quantum tunneling, stars would not be able to shine, and the universe would be a very different place. Is this another coincidence, or is this evidence of something more? Even the origin of life may have depended on quantum tunneling. The formation of complex molecules from simpler building blocks often requires overcoming energetic barriers. Quantum tunneling may have allowed these molecules to tunnel through these barriers, facilitating the formation of the complex molecules that are essential for life. The ability of molecules to tunnel through energetic barriers is not just a possibility. It may have been a necessity. Quantum tunneling is essential for all known life. Without it, plants could not create energy, stars could not shine, and molecules could not combine to form the building blocks of life. But what does this all mean for us? Is there a connection between the physical phenomenon of quantum tunneling and our own mental and emotional barriers? The concept of microcosm and macrocosm suggests that there are parallels between the physical world and the mental world. If quantum tunneling allows particles to bypass physical barriers, could there be a mental equivalent that allows us to bypass self-imposed limitations? This is where things get interesting. What are some of these limitations? We all have self-imposed limitations, conscious and subconscious beliefs that limit our potential. These limitations might include a fear of failure, a lack of confidence, or limiting beliefs about our abilities. These beliefs act as potential barriers, preventing us from achieving our goals and living up to our full potential. But in this quantum reality, aren't those barriers simply suggestions? But what if we could tunnel past these personal barriers by collapsing negative probabilities? Consider that if we truly understood the quantum field, we could ignore self-imposed limitations. Imagine the observer effect allowing us to impose positive probabilities. If we can change our mindset to tunnel through mental barriers, what is possible? By focusing our intention, anything is possible. This isn't just a feel-good mantra. It's a reflection of the underlying principles of quantum mechanics and chaos magic. By cultivating a tunneling mindset, we can consciously influence the probability of success and overcome obstacles that might otherwise seem insurmountable. Is this just another parlor trick, or is there real power here? The tunneling mindset is a conscious approach to life that recognizes the potential to overcome obstacles. It emphasizes the importance of cultivating a belief in one's ability to achieve desired outcomes, even in the face of adversity. But how can one implement this in their own life? By laser focusing on a single desired outcome. To develop this mindset, we can use a variety of techniques, including focused intention, visualization, and emotional alignment. Focused intention involves clearly defining your desired outcome and directing all of your mental and emotional energy towards achieving it. Visualization involves creating a vivid mental image of yourself achieving your goal, immersing yourself in the sights, sounds, and feelings of success. And by connecting that visualization to an emotional representation of what it feels like to achieve that goal, you complete the practice. Now, to create tunneling intentions, you must intentionally connect these techniques. But does this mean that these newfound powers can be used recklessly? Or do we need to stop and consider the ethical repercussions? As we recap quantum tunneling and the tunneling mindset, it's crucial to remember that with great power comes great responsibility. By understanding how to manipulate quantum reality, we unlock incredible potential, but we also open ourselves up to ethical considerations that we cannot afford to ignore. How can we tunnel past something without hurting another? The most important point in quantum tunneling is knowing where and when to use it. When shouldn't we tunnel? The answer is simple: when it involves manipulating, scamming, or tricking people. Such actions violate the principle of good intentions that underpins ethical chaos magic. Intentions can change the world, both in a literal and physical sense. In the end, intention is everything. Our actions must be guided by a sincere desire to benefit ourselves and others. As we've discussed, everything in the quantum field is connected. It's important to always keep in mind the key tenet of shared consciousness. But what happens when these intentions have physical repercussions? What results can we expect from harnessing these new abilities? As we consider the physical repercussions of our intentions and harness these newfound abilities to bypass barriers with our tunneling mindset, what happens when we apply these principles directly to the brain itself? The most important point in quantum tunneling is knowing where and when to use it, and the same can be said of our minds. What if we could amplify the mind's quantum activity to hack reality in new ways? Consider the God helmet, a device developed by neuroscientist Michael Persinger in the 1980s. This isn't some fringe new age gadget. It's a scientifically designed tool that stimulates the brain with weak electromagnetic fields. But what's truly fascinating is its potential to induce altered states of consciousness, profound spiritual experiences, and even out-of-body sensations. Could this be a bridge between the quantum realm and our everyday awareness? The God helmet works by placing magnetic coils near the head, generating weak electromagnetic fields that stimulate specific regions of the brain. This stimulation can induce a range of subjective experiences, from feelings of euphoria and connectedness to vivid hallucinations and encounters with seemingly autonomous entities. But how does this relate to quantum tunneling? It is theorized that the God helmet may affect the brain on a quantum level, potentially amplifying or decreasing quantum tunneling activity within neural networks. While quantum tunneling is typically observed at the subatomic scale, its effects may manifest on a macroscopic level under certain conditions. It's possible that the God helmet might modulate these conditions, facilitating or inhibiting tunneling processes within the brain, though this hasn't been proven directly. What effects would that have on the user? By influencing the brain's electromagnetic environment, the God helmet may lower the barrier for intent, helping bypass mental and emotional blocks. It is theorized that people with certain mental conditions may have lower tunneling capabilities, and the God helmet may improve the process. However, the exact parameters for this phenomenon need to be carefully studied. This could lead to therapeutic applications for treating depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. But with such powerful tools, ethical considerations are paramount. Could the God helmet be used to manipulate or control individuals? Is it ethical to induce altered states of consciousness without informed consent? These are questions that demand careful consideration as we continue to explore the potential of brain hacking technologies. But these are not the only ways to hack the brain. Now, let us turn our attention to another technique for altering consciousness and potentially tapping into the quantum realm: sensory deprivation. Imagine yourself floating weightlessly in complete darkness, surrounded by silence. This is the experience offered by sensory deprivation tanks, enclosed, soundproof environments filled with salt water that allows users to float effortlessly. These tanks limit external stimuli, drastically reducing sensory input to the brain. This reduction of sensory input could tune the brain, allowing it to operate in ways that would otherwise be impossible, perhaps even opening doorways to quantum consciousness. But how can reducing external stimulation lead to heightened internal awareness? By minimizing external distractions, the brain is freed from its usual processing demands, allowing it to focus on internal processes. Users often report experiencing altered states of consciousness, enhanced creativity, and profound insights. Some describe vivid hallucinations, changes in perception, and a sense of merging with the universe. Could this be a glimpse into the interconnectedness of all things? Anecdotal evidence suggests that sensory deprivation can improve problem-solving skills and increase self-awareness. By quieting the external world, we may be able to access deeper levels of consciousness and unlock hidden potential within ourselves. Can this access new planes of non-local consciousness? Can this connect to quantum entanglement? If these tanks have no sensory input, could this connect to the quantum field? What if the brain itself isn't just a classical computer, but also operates on quantum principles? Some theorists propose that quantum effects may allow for parallel processing and enhanced information processing within the brain. This leads to the question: what if quantum entanglement may exist inside the brain, facilitating communication between neurons and enhancing awareness? In this quantum view, entanglement might allow neurons to communicate instantaneously, regardless of distance. This could explain how the brain can process information so quickly and efficiently, far exceeding the capabilities of classical computers. What if our neurons are quantum entangled, providing us with a higher sense of awareness? If this is the case, then the brain can connect to the quantum field by focusing intentions. If we can connect these ideas to create a quantum brain, then how can one use that to change reality? To bring this idea together, consider the ethical repercussions of hacking the brain. As we return to the ethical considerations of using these tools, it's crucial to remember that brain hacking isn't inherently good or bad. The most important point in quantum tunneling is knowing where and when to use it. The same can be said of hacking the brain, but it is also important to consider intent. If a quantum magician maintains good intentions, they could help improve shared consciousness. But is that even possible? By using these tools responsibly and ethically, we can unlock the potential for personal transformation and collective evolution. As we've discussed, everything in the quantum field is connected. It's important to always keep in mind the key tenet of shared consciousness. And by being a conscious being, reality can be hacked. But is hacking the brain a form of manipulation? And where does it stop? What if staring into an empty black surface could unlock the secrets of alternate realities? Could ancient diviners have been unknowingly tapping into the quantum void, manipulating probabilities with their focused intentions? We will investigate this ancient divination technique and quantum sight. Modern quantum physics suggests that reality is not fixed, but rather a sea of possibilities, influenced by observation and intention. But how can a simple black mirror act as a gateway to such a vast and complex realm? How can gazing into the darkness reveal hidden truths and unlock the potential for reality hacking? So now that we've set the stage, let us now turn our attention to the black mirror technique, a method of scrying where a dark reflective surface, such as a black mirror or obsidian, is used to induce altered states of consciousness and visualize alternate realities. But you might ask, what is scrying? Scrying, in its essence, is an ancient divination practice found across various cultures throughout history. From gazing into pools of water in ancient Greece to using crystal balls in medieval Europe, the act of seeking visions in reflective surfaces has been a persistent element of human spirituality. These practices were attempts to discern hidden truths, glimpse possible futures, or communicate with unseen entities. Even today, scrying persists in various forms, from modern-day mediums using mirrors for spirit communication to those seeking personal guidance through meditative gazing. As with most esoteric topics, what is the core mystery of scrying? But how does staring at an empty black mirror allow individuals to visualize new realities? Is it merely a trick of the mind, or is there something more profound at play? We might pose it as a question of quantum access. Could individuals be gaining access to alternate realities through their sight? To understand this, let's first consider how the black mirror technique limits visual stimuli. The dark, reflective surface minimizes external visual input, forcing the user to focus inward on their internal consciousness. But how can limiting external stimulation lead to heightened internal awareness? The answer lies in the way our brains process information. Under normal circumstances, our brains are constantly bombarded with sensory input from our environment. This input is processed and filtered, allowing us to navigate the world and respond to stimuli. However, when sensory input is reduced, the brain enters a different state, one where internal processes become more prominent. This is what makes it so similar to the sensory deprivation tank, the God helmet, or quantum tunneling. In this state of reduced sensory input, the brain may begin to generate its own internal imagery, leading to hallucinations, vivid dreams, and altered states of consciousness. But is it possible that a person is using their vision to break into alternate universes? Is the barrier between worlds not so solid as we think? Theorists suggest that the black mirror acts as a sort of quantum portal, allowing individuals to access the quantum void, the realm of infinite possibilities. By focusing their attention and intention on the mirror, they may be able to bypass the limitations of space and time, accessing alternate realities and influencing the probabilities of their own lives. But where does one even begin with this type of process? To begin, we must examine the actual technique. Step 1 involves preparing the black mirror, cleansing and consecrating a dark, reflective surface. The cleansing process is essential to remove any unwanted energies or influences from the mirror. This can be achieved through various methods, such as smudging with sage or other purifying herbs, washing the mirror with water infused with specific herbs or oils, and charging the mirror with intention, visualizing it being filled with pure, positive energy. Consider this the equivalent of 0 pointing the device. The purpose of this is to ensure the mirror is neutral, a blank slate for your intentions. So how does one turn that blank slate into a method for seeing new worlds? The consecration process involves dedicating the mirror to a specific purpose, such as accessing alternate realities, divining the future, or communicating with spirits. This can be done through a ritual or ceremony, where the user declares their intention and invokes the assistance of deities, spirits, or other entities. The purpose here is to imbue the mirror with your specific intention, programming it to act as a gateway to your desired reality. Once the mirror is prepared, step 2 involves creating the right environment. This includes dim lighting, a quiet space, and a comfortable posture. Minimizing distractions is crucial for creating a calm, receptive state of mind. This means turning off electronic devices, silencing notifications, and ensuring that you will not be interrupted during the scrying session. The goal is to create a space where you can fully focus your attention on the black mirror without any external interference. Candles, incense, or ambient music can enhance the atmosphere, creating a more conducive environment for altered states of consciousness. However, it's important to choose these elements carefully, ensuring that they align with your intention and do not create unnecessary distractions. So how does one use this atmosphere to see into new dimensions? Step 3 involves inducing an altered state by staring into the black mirror and focusing on a desired intention. Softening the gaze and allowing the mind to wander is a key aspect of this process. Rather than staring intently at the mirror, the user should allow their gaze to soften, blurring the edges of their vision and allowing their mind to drift. This helps to bypass the conscious mind, allowing deeper levels of consciousness to emerge. It is through this subconscious access, the altered state, that one can connect to the quantum field in order to tunnel into new realities. But how can one harness that access? Focused intention is used to guide the visualization process and create a specific scenario in the mind's eye. This involves clearly defining the desired outcome, whether it's visualizing a new career, connecting with a specific person, or exploring a different timeline. The user should then focus their attention on this intention, allowing it to fill their mind and guide their visualizations within the mirror. Is it possible that we are programming our subconscious or the black mirror itself? Step 4 involves interpreting and applying the visions, documenting the experience and integrating the insights into daily life. Recording the visions in a journal or notebook is essential for capturing the details of the experience. This allows the user to later analyze the visions, identify recurring themes or symbols, and gain a deeper understanding of their meaning. Treat it like documenting the results of an experiment to see if you were right. But what if the results are abstract or hard to understand? Interpreting the symbols, messages, and emotions that arise during the scrying process can be challenging. It requires intuition, self-awareness, and a willingness to explore the deeper meaning behind the visions. The user can draw upon various sources of information, such as dream dictionaries, mythological symbolism, and personal associations, to decipher the hidden messages within the mirror. It may also be worth seeing a professional in the esoteric arts, such as a tarot reader or clairvoyant, to help with interpretation. Applying the insights to real-world situations involves making choices and taking actions that align with the desired outcome. This requires integrating the lessons learned from the scrying session into daily life, making conscious efforts to manifest the desired reality. Now that we have examined how the black mirror connects to consciousness, what does it have to do with magic? Now we must draw a connection from the black mirror to our central theme, magic, more specifically, chaos magic. As we've explored throughout this journey, chaos magic is a system of belief and practice that emphasizes the power of intention and belief in shaping reality. It posits that reality is malleable and that individuals can learn to manipulate it through focused intention, creative visualization, and the use of symbols and rituals. So then, what makes this system of magic? Chaos. Chaos magic recognizes that all beliefs are essentially tools and that practitioners can adopt and discard them as needed to achieve desired outcomes. This flexibility allows for a highly personalized and adaptable approach to magic, one that is not bound by rigid dogma or tradition. But what if the black mirror can be amplified? The black mirror can now allow access to more vivid realities, made possible through chaos magic. By combining intention with emotion, practitioners can amplify the effects of the black mirror, creating more vivid and compelling visualizations. This is also where sigils come into play. Drawing inspiration from sigils, chaos magic practitioners can create more complex spells to focus their intention and manifest their desires within the black mirror. These sigils can be visualized within the mirror, acting as anchors for the desired reality and amplifying the power of the visualization. But does this actually work? Consider the following case studies. First, an individual uses the black mirror technique and after a period of time manifests a new, better career. This person spent weeks visualizing their desired career, focusing on the specific details of the job, the work environment, and their interactions with colleagues. Over time, they began to notice new opportunities arising and eventually landed a job that exceeded their expectations. Is it possible they manifested it? Second, another individual used the black mirror to heal personal ailments and combined that with a proper change in diet. They spent time each day visualizing their body healing, focusing on the specific areas that needed attention. Over time, they noticed a gradual improvement in their health and eventually overcame their ailments. But did they heal due to visualization or the diet change? Third, one more individual used the Black Mirror and had premonitions about a tragic accident, and by reaching out to the people involved, she was able to save them. This person had a recurring vision of a car crash and felt compelled to warn their friends and family about the potential danger. Initially, they dismissed the vision as a mere nightmare, but the intensity of the vision persisted, prompting them to take action and alert the affected parties of their premonition. Is it possible that she saved those people with that premonition? As we return to the ethical considerations of using these tools, it's crucial to remember that this can change realities for other people. This potential for influencing reality necessitates a strong ethical code, but what are the bounds of that code? We must consider the distinction between dark scrying and white scrying, which asks whether the Black Mirror is being used for good or evil. Good and evil may be subjective, but intention is not. If the user maintains good intentions, perhaps we could assume the Black Mirror to be a neutral device. The ethical code that should be in place must reinforce do no harm, both to oneself and to others. But what happens when scrying goes awry? Is it possible to get lost in a Black Mirror? What if the greatest barrier to hacking reality is yourself? Could the sense of I, the ego, be a filter that limits our perception of a vast, interconnected quantum reality? We will explore the idea of ego dissolution and its potential role in unlocking hidden abilities and manipulating the very fabric of existence. As we have seen, our personal realities are shaped by our beliefs, biases, and intentions. We create filters around ourselves, allowing certain information to pass through while blocking others. But what if these filters, particularly the ego, are preventing us from accessing a deeper level of reality, a quantum realm where anything is possible? How can we temporarily suspend this sense of self in order to truly hack reality? To answer this, let us introduce the concept of ego dissolution, the act of temporarily suspending the sense of self. This is not about permanently destroying the ego. A critical component in our day-to-day lives for personal identity and navigation of society. Instead, ego dissolution is about learning to step outside of it, to temporarily quiet the internal narrative and experience reality from a different perspective. It's not about killing the ego, but learning how to master it. By understanding that the ego is not us, we can then in turn manipulate the ego and the world around us. But why is it necessary to lose the self in order to hack reality? Is it possible that the ego is more than just a sense of identity, that it's a construct that limits our perception of a larger, quantum reality? Perhaps the ego acts as a barrier, blocking our ability to tap into something bigger than our individual minds, to a universal consciousness where all things are connected. Is it possible that we are not the individuals that we believe we are? What if the individual is just a fragment of the one? To understand this, let's turn to neuroscience and examine how ego dissolution affects the brain's default mode network, or DMN. The DMN is a network of brain regions that are most active when we are not focused on external tasks, when we are instead engaged in self-referential thought, mind wandering, and narrative construction. This is the part of the brain responsible for creating and maintaining our sense of self, our ego identity. But here's where things get interesting. Studies have shown that during mystical experiences, deep meditation, and psychedelic states, there is often decreased activity in the DMN. This suggests that when the sense of self is diminished or suspended, the brain operates differently, potentially opening access to new modes of perception and awareness. So, what is the link between our default mode network and quantum perception? If the DMN is responsible for creating and maintaining our personal narrative, our sense of self, then shutting down that narrative, even temporarily, may allow us to access a deeper, more fundamental reality. It presents the idea that reality exists independent of the self, that it is not solely a product of our individual minds. Perhaps the ability to suppress the default mode network allows access to non-local realities, to quantum realms beyond the limitations of our everyday perception. Is it possible that the real world lies beyond the veil of the mind? So how can we achieve this ego dissolution, this temporary suspension of the self? Are there practical methods we can use to quiet the internal narrative and access these deeper states of awareness? Let's consider a few possibilities: meditation, psychedelics, and sensory overload. Meditation practices, such as mindfulness and focused attention meditation, can help to quiet the mind and reduce self-referential thought. By focusing attention on the breath, a mantra, or a specific sensation, we can gradually diminish the activity of the DMN and create a space for new insights and perspectives to emerge. But is it possible to trick the brain? Sensory deprivation practices, such as float tanks, can also induce altered states of consciousness by minimizing external stimuli. With the removal of external stimulus, internal chaos may lead to the door to a new reality. By depriving the brain of its usual sensory input, we can disrupt the normal patterns of thought and perception, allowing for new and unexpected experiences to arise. But what if the opposite is true? What if, in fact, stimulus creates the proper environment for transcendence? The use of psychedelics, such as psilocybin and LSD, has also been shown to induce ego dissolution and altered states of consciousness. These substances can disrupt the normal functioning of the brain, leading to a temporary breakdown of the sense of self and a heightened sense of interconnectedness with the universe. Please remember that psychedelics should be approached with caution and respect, preferably under the guidance of experienced facilitators. It's important to emphasize that these states are not inherently good or bad. They are simply different ways of experiencing reality, different ways of thinking and perceiving. The value lies in what we learn from these experiences, how we integrate them into our lives, and how we use them to transform our consciousness and our world. But is it possible that this is what ancient magicians were doing all along? By entering these non-local states, were they becoming more powerful, more attuned to the underlying forces of the universe? Were they amplifying their intentions by bypassing the filters of the ego, tapping into the quantum field and bending reality to their will? Is it possible that they weren't bending reality, but rather, they were aligning themselves with true reality? So, what might happen when one suspends their ego and quiets their default mode network? What possibilities might arise when we step outside the limitations of our individual minds? It's possible, and we must emphasize that this is only a theory, yet still a possibility, that we can access non-local consciousness, a direct connection to universal knowledge. Non-local consciousness refers to the idea that consciousness is not limited to the physical brain, but can extend beyond space and time, accessing information and insights from a universal source. It suggests that all minds are interconnected at a deeper level, and that we can tap into this interconnectedness to gain access to knowledge and abilities beyond our individual limitations. By gaining access to all information, a person can bypass limited thinking, a limitation that has been conditioned and programmed into them. If this is true, then all the answers we seek already exist in this non-local consciousness, waiting to be tapped into. By quieting the ego and opening ourselves to this universal source, we can potentially unlock enhanced creativity, intuition, and problem-solving abilities, insights that would otherwise be unavailable to us. But how do we know that any of this is true? Hacking reality isn't just about changing external events, but about transforming our consciousness. It's about recognizing that the limitations we perceive are often self-imposed, products of our own ego and limited perspectives. By dissolving these limitations, even temporarily, we can open ourselves to new possibilities, new ways of being, and new ways of interacting with the world around us. We're just scratching the surface, and the surface is infinitely deep. But what awaits us beyond the ego? If we can truly access this non-local consciousness, what are the implications for our understanding of reality, ourselves, and our potential as human beings? So, we've explored the idea of ego dissolution, of temporarily suspending the self to potentially access non-local consciousness and a deeper understanding of reality. But how do we actively shape this reality once we've quieted the internal narrative? Is it merely enough to quiet the noise, or must we also learn to speak the language of the quantum field? Let us introduce the concept of the quantum mirror. Imagine, if you will, that there exists a theoretical quantum mirror that reflects our intentions back into the quantum field. Not a literal mirror, of course, but a conceptual framework for understanding how our focused thoughts and emotions may influence the probabilities of our reality. Could it be that this quantum mirror is the key that allows us to unlock the secrets of manifestation? But if this quantum mirror reflects intention, is it the only thing to do so? Perhaps the power of the human mind is the key to unlocking manifestation. What if our thoughts, amplified by our emotions, serve as the brushstrokes that paint the canvas of reality? Could it be that this is how chaos magic, with its focus on belief as a tool, can alter reality, not by some external force, but by harnessing the inherent power of our own consciousness? This quantum mirror concept ties directly into subjects we've previously explored: cognitive biases, shared consciousness, and emotional amplification. If emotions are indeed amplified within this quantum framework, then negative emotions, like fear and doubt, can have a disproportionately large impact on the mirror's reflection. Just as a single drop of ink can pollute an entire glass of water, so too can a single negative thought cloud our perception and influence our reality. This quantum echo, as we might call it, can lead to self-fulfilling prophecies, where our expectations, whether conscious or unconscious, shape the very events that unfold. If you constantly expect failure, you may inadvertently create the conditions for failure to occur. Conversely, if you cultivate a mindset of success, you may be more likely to attract opportunities and overcome obstacles. Affirmations and visualization, therefore, become powerful tools for shaping these self-fulfilling prophecies, for reprogramming our internal narrative and aligning ourselves with a more desirable outcome. The quantum echo, in essence, is the belief that both negative and positive intentions are amplified within the quantum field, creating a feedback loop that reinforces our existing beliefs and experiences. If positive intentions amplify positive results, as many spiritual traditions suggest, then negative intentions can lead to a downward spiral, a self-perpetuating cycle of negativity and misfortune. This is a crucial point, one that many self-help gurus conveniently overlook. The quantum mirror doesn't discriminate. It reflects everything, the beautiful and the ugly, the empowering and the disempowering. This mirror will give you exactly what you expect. So how can we harness the power of the quantum mirror to access new realities and manifest our desires? Let us now walk through a step-by-step process, a practical guide to visualizing intention and shaping our quantum reality. First, we must engage in deep introspection. Step 1. Deep introspection. Before we can project a new reality onto the quantum mirror, we must first examine our existing beliefs and thought patterns, identifying any limiting beliefs that may be negatively impacting the mirror's reflection. These limiting beliefs often operate beneath the surface of our conscious awareness, silently sabotaging our efforts and undermining our intentions. This is what they don't want you to know, that you're being sabotaged, even by your own mind. Consider, for example, the scarcity mindset, the pervasive belief that there is not enough to go around, that resources are limited, and that we must compete with others to survive. This belief can manifest as fear of losing money, reluctance to invest in ourselves, and a general sense of lack, all of which can create a self-fulfilling prophecy of financial struggle. Or consider the victim complex, the belief that we are powerless victims of circumstance, that we have no control over our lives, and that the world is conspiring against us. This belief can lead to passivity, resentment, and a refusal to take responsibility for our own actions, further reinforcing our sense of powerlessness. Step 2. Quantum cleansing. Once we have identified these limiting beliefs, we must then engage in quantum cleansing, a process of consciously dismantling these negative thought patterns and replacing them with more empowering beliefs. This isn't about simple positive thinking. It's about actively disrupting the negative feedback loop and creating space for new possibilities to emerge. Quantum cleansing involves a combination of visualization and meditation. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and visualize a radiant light surrounding you, dissolving any darkness or negativity within your energy field. Imagine that light penetrating every cell in your body, clearing away any limiting beliefs, negative emotions, or self-sabotaging thought patterns. Repeat affirmations that counteract these negative beliefs, such as, I am worthy of abundance, I am in control of my destiny, or I am open to receiving all the good that life has to offer. Step 3. Projecting a new quantum reality. With the quantum mirror cleansed, we can now begin to paint it with our desired reality, using the powerful tools of visualization, affirmation, and emotional alignment. This isn't about simply wishing for something to happen. It's about vividly imagining the desired outcome as if it has already manifested, feeling the emotions associated with that reality, and aligning our thoughts, words, and actions with that vision. Imagine yourself already living in your desired reality, experiencing the abundance, health, or fulfilling relationships that you seek. See the details of your ideal life, feel the emotions of joy, gratitude, and love, and act as if you are already living that reality. These paints, imbued with our focused intention and amplified by our emotions, will then be reflected back into the quantum field, influencing the probabilities and attracting the circumstances necessary to bring that reality into being. But what does this look like in practice? Let us consider a few case studies, examples of how we can consciously project our intentions onto the quantum mirror and begin to reshape our realities. First, we can analyze our financial abundance. Case 1. Financial abundance. If you desire financial abundance, start by visualizing yourself already enjoying that abundance. See your bank account overflowing with funds. Imagine the freedom and security that comes with financial independence, and feel the joy of being able to give generously to others. Counteract any negative belief patterns, such as scarcity, by affirming your worthiness to receive abundance and focusing on the opportunities that surround you. By shifting your perspective and aligning your thoughts and emotions with abundance, you can begin to attract financial success into your life. Case 2. Health and wellness. Similarly, you can project a state of health and wellness onto the quantum mirror by vividly imagining yourself in perfect health, feeling strong, energetic, and vibrant. See your body functioning optimally, imagine yourself engaging in activities that you enjoy, and feel the gratitude for your physical well-being. It is crucial to mention that solely wishing for wellness will not matter if your mental state is still negative. You must believe in your wellness. Case 3. Relationships. To cultivate positive relationships, project an image of yourself interacting with loved ones in a harmonious and fulfilling way. See yourself communicating openly, expressing love and appreciation, and resolving conflicts with grace and understanding. What if you are constantly pushing people away? Then, there will be an expectation that relationships will end. Erase the negative expectation and change your relationship outcomes. Mastering the quantum mirror, however, requires more than simply visualizing our desires and reciting affirmations. It requires a deep understanding of our own intentions, a commitment to aligning our actions with our values, and a willingness to take responsibility for the reality we create. The key to the quantum mirror is not just any intention, but good intentions. A warning to those who may tread this path without caution. For the quantum mirror amplifies all intentions, both positive and negative, conscious and unconscious. This means that we must be vigilant about the thoughts and emotions we cultivate, recognizing that they have a tangible impact on the world around us. Furthermore, this amplified reality could affect others, and we must be aware of our shared responsibility. Proceed with caution and be aware of the quantum echo. Each of us, therefore, becomes a quantum magician, responsible for the intentions we project into the world. The quantum mirror, in turn, amplifies these intentions, magnifying their impact and shaping the fabric of reality. If you seek the light, project light into the quantum mirror. As we tap into this universal consciousness, we become more aware of the interconnectedness of all things, the ripple effects of our thoughts and actions, and the power we have to shape our collective destiny. So, What greater realities await us? What happens when one unlocks the secrets of shared responsibility and good intention? What if there existed a vast, universal library containing every thought, every action, every emotion that has ever occurred, a compendium of all that was, is, and could be? Imagine a cosmic internet, accessible to those who know how to connect, a book of life where the entire history of the universe is eternally recorded. This is the essence of the Akashic Records, a concept echoed across cultures and traditions, from the ancient mystery schools to modern New Age philosophies. But is it truly possible to tap into this universal source of knowledge? Or is it merely a fanciful metaphor, a projection of our own yearning for connection and understanding? Perhaps the Akashic Records are not a literal library, but a manifestation of access, a way to describe the inherent interconnectedness of all things. If the quantum mirror reflects our individual intentions, could the Akashic Records reflect the collective consciousness of humanity, a vast ocean of information accessible to those who can quiet the noise of the ego and open themselves to the infinite? So, how can we approach this tantalizing possibility, and what doors might it open for us? Modern quantum physics offers a potential framework for understanding the Akashic Records, suggesting that this universal compendium of knowledge may exist in the quantum field as a vast network of entangled information. If quantum entanglement can connect two particles across vast distances instantaneously, regardless of space or time, could the Akashic Records be a manifestation of this non-local reality, a realm where all information is interconnected and accessible? Consider the implications. Every thought, every experience, every choice we make leaves a quantum imprint in this field, contributing to the vast tapestry of the Akashic Records. This quantum information, not bound by the limitations of space or time, becomes part of the universal record, accessible to those who know how to tune in to the right frequency. We have previously discussed accessing non-local states through sensory deprivation, the God helmet, even the unsettling implications of Black Mirror technologies and the path of ego dissolution. Could these practices serve as keys, unlocking doors to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe? It is crucial to acknowledge that the Akashic Records, as described, are not yet scientifically proven and exist primarily within the realm of theoretical exploration. However, it offers a compelling framework for exploring the nature of consciousness, reality, and the potential for accessing non-local information. If information truly shapes quantum reality, as we've previously explored, then the Akashic Records represent the ultimate information source, a repository of all possibilities and potentialities. But how do we access this vast ocean of knowledge, and what tools can we use to navigate its currents? Let us now turn to the practical methods for attempting to access the Akashic Records, techniques that have been practiced for centuries across various traditions. These methods, including deep meditation, lucid dreaming, shamanic journeying, and hypnotic regression, all involve altering states of consciousness to bypass the limitations of the ego and access non-local information. They represent different pathways to the same destination, a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. But what is it about these altered states that allows us to tap into the Akashic Records? Deep meditation, for example, involves quieting the mind, emptying it of thoughts and distractions, and focusing on a single point of awareness. This state of deep stillness allows us to transcend the limitations of the ego and connect with a deeper level of consciousness, a realm where information flows freely and intuitively. Lucid dreaming, on the other hand, involves becoming aware that you are dreaming while still within the dream state. This awareness allows you to consciously shape and control your dreams, exploring different realities and accessing hidden knowledge within the subconscious mind. Shamanic journeying involves entering an altered state of consciousness through drumming, chanting, or the use of entheogens, and traveling to other realms of reality to connect with spirit guides and access information. Hypnotic regression involves using hypnosis to access past memories or past lives, potentially uncovering hidden patterns and insights that can inform our present lives. But do these different paths simply provide convenient narratives, or do they, perhaps, affect the quantum field itself? Consider the similarities between these diverse practices. Each technique aims to bypass the ego, quiet the internal narrative, and open us to a deeper level of awareness. Is it possible that the journey itself is more important than the destination, that the act of altering our consciousness creates a ripple effect in the quantum field, allowing us to access information that would otherwise be inaccessible? Or could it be that the energy we pour into these exercises, the focused intention and emotional intensity, is what truly affects the quantum field, shaping reality in subtle but profound ways? To illustrate the potential of accessing the Akashic records, let us consider a few compelling case studies. Keep in mind that these are anecdotal accounts, not scientific proof, but they offer a glimpse into the possibilities that may lie beyond our conventional understanding of reality. In each case, we are examining the patterns and making connections. Case 1. Discovering past lives. An individual, plagued by recurring nightmares and unexplained anxieties, uses Akashic meditation to explore potential past lives. During the meditation, they experience vivid visions of a life in a war-torn country, witnessing scenes of violence and loss. After repeated meditations, the individual begins to understand the source of their anxieties, recognizing them as echoes of past traumas. By acknowledging and processing these past life experiences, the individual is able to release the emotional baggage and move forward with greater clarity and peace. After following the new patterns, they find that they're able to move on. Case 2. Accessing future probabilities to invest wisely. An entrepreneur, seeking to make sound investment decisions, taps into the Akashic records to explore future probabilities. Through a series of lucid dreams and shamanic journeys, they gain insights into emerging trends and market shifts. They see a future where renewable energy is dominant and invest heavily in that sector. Based on this information, they make strategic investments that yield significant returns, securing their financial future and contributing to a more sustainable world. Is this merely luck or something more profound at play? Case 3. Gaining insight into global events. An individual, concerned about the increasing frequency of natural disasters, uses hypnotic regression to access the Akashic records and gain insight into future events. They discover an upcoming earthquake that threatens their local neighborhood. Acting on this information, they take precautions to reinforce their home and alert their neighbors, mitigating the damage and helping to save lives. But should one act on such information? What are the ethical considerations? These case studies, while anecdotal, highlight the potential for the quantum mirror and Akashic manifestations, showcasing the power of focused intention and altered states of consciousness. But it is crucial to remember that these tools are not inherently good or bad, and their use requires a deep sense of responsibility and ethical awareness. What happens when this power falls into the wrong hands? As we explore the potential of accessing the Akashic records, we must consider the ethical implications of wielding such powerful knowledge. What are the boundaries of acceptable exploration, and what responsibilities do we have to ourselves and to others? We must be cautious not to cheat the system, to use Akashic information for personal gain at the expense of others. We must proceed with integrity and honesty, aligning our intentions with the highest good. Consider the concept of quantum karma, the idea that by tapping into non-local reality, we become bound by all that happens within it. Our actions, thoughts, and intentions ripple through the quantum field, creating a chain reaction that affects not only ourselves, but also the entire universe. By accessing the Akashic records, we are essentially opening ourselves to this interconnectedness, becoming responsible for the consequences of our actions on a grand scale. So, are we ready for such responsibility? It is important to mention, again, the importance of intention. If our intentions are pure, and our actions are aligned with love and compassion, then we can use the Akashic records to heal, transform, and create a more harmonious world. But if our intentions are selfish or destructive, then we risk creating negative consequences that will reverberate throughout the quantum field. The Akashic records are not a toy to be played with, but a sacred source of knowledge to be treated with reverence and respect. Ultimately, by accessing the Akashic records, humanity can grow and learn, gaining a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness and our role in the universe. We can use this knowledge to heal past traumas, create a more sustainable future, and evolve into a more compassionate and enlightened species. But we must proceed with caution, remembering that in the end, we are all connected, and our choices have consequences that extend far beyond our individual lives. Are you ready to accept that responsibility, fellow seeker? But what happens when this ability extends beyond the individual and becomes a tool for mass manipulation? Let us venture forward and explore the potential for weaponizing the quantum field. As we have explored the depths of quantum reality and the profound influence of consciousness, let us now turn our attention to the tangible tools that ancient magicians and modern reality hackers alike have wielded to shape their destinies. Remember the power of belief, the observer effect, and the interconnectedness of all things, for we will now see how these concepts coalesce into something truly extraordinary. What if symbols were more than mere representations? What if, instead, they were actual keys, resonating with the very fabric of quantum reality? Consider this: symbols are vessels. They are designed to hold and transmit intent, like a chalice holding wine. They are focal points, concentrating the energy of the magician's will, acting as a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, the individual and the universal. This vessel, brimming with focused intention, can then be placed within what we shall call a quantum frame, a construct of belief, visualization, and focused energy, allowing it to interact with the quantum field. Think of it as a precisely tuned instrument, capable of resonating with specific frequencies of reality. Is it any wonder that ancient cultures revered certain symbols as sacred, imbuing them with the power to influence the course of events? In the realm of chaos magic, these quantum symbols find a familiar expression in the form of sigils. A sigil, at its core, is a symbol created to represent a desired outcome or intention. But unlike traditional symbols with fixed meanings, sigils are highly personal and adaptable. They are born from the magician's specific will and charged with their unique energy. Chaos magicians understand that the belief in a symbol's power is what truly activates it, making it a potent tool for reality hacking. Could this be why sigils, stripped of any pre-existing cultural baggage, are so effective? By creating a symbol from scratch, the magician imprints their intention directly onto the quantum field, unburdened by collective associations. But perhaps there is power in older symbols, too. To understand this further, let us turn to the work of Carl Jung, who posited the existence of archetypes, universal, inherited predispositions to respond to certain symbols and images. These archetypes, residing in the collective unconscious, are the building blocks of human experience, shaping our perceptions, emotions, and behaviors. Jung's exploration of the collective unconscious revealed a shared reservoir of symbols and myths that transcend cultural boundaries, suggesting a deeper, underlying connection between all human minds. What if quantum symbols tap into this shared reservoir, resonating with archetypes to amplify their effects? Jung's concept of archetypes provides a basis for understanding how quantum symbols can tap into shared meanings and intentions. When we use symbols with deep historical roots, like the caduceus or the tree of life, we are not simply invoking their surface meaning, but also the accumulated energy and intention of countless individuals who have worked with those symbols throughout history. The double happiness symbol, for instance, embodies the desire for harmonious relationships and marital bliss, carrying with it centuries of cultural associations. By working with such symbols, are we amplifying our intentions, drawing upon a collective reservoir of belief and energy? Furthermore, consider the idea of quantum resonance. Just as a tuning fork vibrates in sympathy with another of the same frequency, symbols may create resonance within the quantum field, amplifying their influence on reality. A symbol's specific properties, its shape, color, and the intention behind its creation can create subtle changes in the quantum environment, influencing probability and attracting corresponding outcomes. Imagine a symbol designed to attract abundance, resonating with the infinite potentiality of the quantum field, subtly shifting the probabilities in your favor. But what if this resonance could also attract unwanted attention, drawing entities or energies into your life that are not aligned with your highest good? It is crucial to acknowledge that this perspective on quantum symbols remains a theory, a framework for further exploration rather than a definitive scientific conclusion. Conventional science has yet to fully embrace the idea that symbols can directly influence quantum reality. However, the principles of quantum physics, combined with the insights of depth psychology and the practices of ancient magic, offer a tantalizing glimpse into the potential power of symbols as tools for reality hacking. Do you feel ready to wield that power? Now, let us delve into the practical aspects of creating and charging your own quantum symbols for reality hacking. This process involves a combination of focused intention, symbolic representation, and energetic activation. Follow these steps, and who knows what you might find. Step 1. Define the desired outcome with crystal clarity. The cornerstone of effective quantum symbol creation is a clearly defined intention. What specific outcome do you wish to manifest? Vague desires yield vague results. Instead of simply wishing for more money, specify, I intend to attract opportunities that generate an additional $1,000 of income per month. Instead of better health, try, I intend to optimize my immune system for increased vitality and resilience. The more specific your intention, the more focused the energy you will channel into your quantum symbol. Step 2. Research and select a relevant symbol, seeking one that resonates with your intention. Once you have defined your desired outcome, research existing symbols that resonate with your intention. Explore different cultural traditions, mythologies, and esoteric systems, seeking symbols that embody the qualities you wish to manifest. For example, if you intend to attract love, you might explore symbols associated with Venus, Aphrodite, or other love deities. If you intend to enhance your creativity, you might research symbols associated with muses, inspiration, or artistic expression. Consider also exploring symbols with long and storied histories, as these carry with them the weight of collective belief. Step 3. Modify or create your own symbol, blending elements of different symbols to personalize it. Don't be afraid to modify existing symbols or create your own from scratch. Blending elements from different symbols can create a unique and potent combination, tailored to your specific intention. Personalizing the symbol imprints your unique energy and intention onto it, making it a more powerful tool for reality hacking. Put your stamp on it, make it your own. Step 4. Charge the symbol with focused intention, thereby activating it. The final step is to charge the symbol with focused intention, activating its power to influence reality. Find a quiet space where you can relax and focus without distractions. Gaze upon the symbol, allowing its image to fill your mind's eye. Visualize your desired outcome as if it has already manifested, feeling the emotions of joy, gratitude, and fulfillment. Channel these emotions into the symbol, imbuing it with your intention. Meditate upon the symbol, visualizing it glowing with energy and radiating its influence into the quantum field. Repeat this process regularly, reinforcing the symbol's connection to your intention. Now, let's look at a few examples. Case studies are not scientific, but they are excellent for pattern recognition. Let us examine a few examples and see what arises. Case 1. A user creates and charges a symbol to increase creativity. A struggling writer, facing a severe case of writer's block, creates a quantum symbol combining elements of the lotus flower, representing enlightenment, and a quill pen, representing writing. He charges the symbol daily, visualizing himself effortlessly writing compelling stories that captivate readers. Within a week, he experiences an influx of creative insights, ideas flowing freely and effortlessly onto the page. Is this merely a coincidence, or did the quantum symbol unlock a hidden potential within his mind? Case 2. Using the double happiness symbol, an individual seeks to manifest positive relationships. An individual, seeking to attract a loving and supportive partner, begins working with the double happiness symbol. a traditional Chinese symbol representing marital bliss and harmonious relationships. Because the symbol has strong historical roots and carries the collective intention of countless individuals, his success rate is higher than expected. Within a few months, he meets someone who embodies the qualities he desires, forming a deep and meaningful connection. Did the symbol act as a beacon, attracting a compatible partner into his life? Case 3. A user creates and charges a banishing symbol to remove a bad habit. A user, struggling to overcome a persistent bad habit, creates a banishing symbol incorporating elements of a crossed-out circle and a downward-pointing arrow. She charges the symbol with the intention of removing the habit from her life, visualizing herself breaking free from its grip. Through continued visualization, the user then tunnels past the barrier of the habit to remove it from her life. Does this demonstrate the power of intention to reshape even deeply ingrained patterns of behavior? We must always remember, though, that such power comes with a great deal of responsibility. Can we truly control such powerful forces? As we conclude our exploration of quantum symbols, it is crucial to address the ethical considerations that arise when wielding such a potentially powerful tool. Symbols, as we have established, can affect quantum reality, shaping probabilities and influencing outcomes. Therefore, it is imperative that we use them responsibly and ethically. But what does this truly mean in practice? Consider this ethical question. Does it matter if a symbol has a historically negative meaning? Should one reappropriate symbols to have their own meaning? Some symbols, like the swastika or the pentagram, have acquired negative associations due to their use by harmful individuals or groups. Is it ethical to reclaim these symbols, imbuing them with positive intentions? Or does their historical baggage forever taint their potential? The key point is intention. What is your purpose in using the symbol? Are you seeking to heal and uplift, or to harm and manipulate? Ultimately, the responsibility lies with the user to wield symbols with integrity and compassion. We must always be mindful of the potential consequences of our actions, recognizing that our intentions ripple through the quantum field, affecting not only ourselves, but also the world around us. Can we truly predict the consequences of our actions when manipulating quantum reality? Relate this to quantum karma. Using symbols negatively may come back on a user. Just as every action creates a reaction, every intention creates a corresponding outcome. If you use quantum symbols for selfish or harmful purposes, you may attract negative consequences into your own life. Therefore, it is essential to align your intentions with the highest good, seeking to create positive change and contribute to the well-being of all. We must be aware of our actions and use symbols to focus intent, because in the end, intention is everything. The ethical use of quantum symbols requires a deep sense of self-awareness, responsibility, and compassion. By wielding these tools with integrity and mindful intention, we can become true reality hackers, shaping our lives and the world around us for the better. But what happens when the lines between ethical and unethical become blurred, when the pursuit of personal power overshadows the well-being of others? Let us now venture into the shadow side of quantum manipulation, exploring the potential for weaponizing the quantum field. As we conclude our exploration of the fascinating intersection between chaos magic and quantum physics, we shift to a more reflective and summative tone, acknowledging the complex journey we've undertaken together. We have traversed a landscape of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science, and now it is time to consolidate the key insights we've unveiled. Throughout this exploration, a central theme emerges: the convergence of ancient esoteric practices like chaos magic and the revolutionary discoveries of quantum physics. We've seen how intentional belief, focused intention, quantum entanglement, and the understanding of personal realities all converge to suggest that we are not merely passive observers, but active participants in the creation of our experiences. We are, in essence, quantum co-creators. Returning to the initial question, what if the laws of reality are more like suggestions? We can now see that this isn't just a philosophical musing, but a practical framework for reality hacking, backed by both ancient wisdom and modern science. The quantum mirror example When viewed through the lens of confirmation bias, we can better see how it influences not only the quantum field, but how our personal belief shapes what is amplified, showing that belief shapes reality and influences probability. These aren't parlor tricks, but potent forces with real-world consequences. It's up to each individual to proceed with responsibility. The principle that our beliefs influence our reality extends far beyond personal gain. It has profound implications for how we interact with the world and contribute to collective consciousness. If we can manifest personal change, then we can also manifest societal transformation. Through this exploration, we have not only uncovered ancient secrets, but also equipped ourselves with practical tools for personal transformation. With this understanding, you are now empowered to become the architect of your own universe, consciously shaping your reality with intention and awareness. The path of the quantum magician is one of continuous exploration, ethical practice, and unwavering belief in the power of human consciousness to shape a better world. The power to hack reality lies within each of us, waiting to be awakened and directed with intention. Continue to seek the light, explore the depths of your own consciousness, and manifest the reality you desire. So mote it be. If you found this video insightful, delve deeper into the world of chaos magic, quantum physics, and consciousness exploration. Consider how you integrate these forces in your pursuit of personal and spiritual growth. Try and create your own quantum symbol. Share your thoughts, experiences, and insights in the comments below. What limiting beliefs do you think are holding you back? Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.